Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents and fellow cult members. Welcome to Culture Club USA Live. First of all, I want to wish everyone who is a veteran here tonight. It is Memorial Day weekend. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, and you know how I love my veterans. First of all, Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day. I don't really like that saying. Memorial Day is supposed to be a time for us to remember the veterans that we've lost and everything that the people who fought for our freedoms have gone through for us to be free, right? So let's remember what Memorial Day is actually about. I'm surrounded by veterans. Drew Boo is also surrounded by veterans. There's a lot of veterans here. Let me address the chat. First of all, my father is actually a veteran, and, he's definitely lost friends when he was overseas. So salute to all the people that have fought, literally risked their lives for us to be here in America. Okay? All right. Now, first of all, U-Haul. U-Haul, do you just want me to do my Daisy voice all the time? Huh? I mean, I can't do Daisy voice all the time, U-Haul. Okay? We start live as soon as producer say, okay, ready, DiBRAVA? I have to wait for producer. Every time I late, it's because producer. You blame producer, okay? Okay? And we have Andrew Williams today. Okay, Billy D is in the house. Hello. All right. And we have some new people in the chat. All right. U-Haul, where are you, by the way? Because, he's traveling. He's traveling. He's actually driving around the country. All right. Where are you? Let me know in the chat. Are you traveling this weekend or are you posted somewhere? Andrew Williams, I know you must be busy. Are you selling a lot of your Bloody Mary mix this weekend? You should be. All right. Andrew is a bartender, a professional gambler, and he's really good at it. An excellent golfer, excellent at sports, he knows everything about sports there is to know. Okay. And he's got a show that's coming back soon. We're going to be diving into that very soon in the near future. And we have some new people. Kenford Julian is in the chat. Welcome. How are you? A-Jot. I love you in green. Thank you so much. Green is actually my favorite color. Green is my favorite color. Drew Boo. And actually, Siege D, thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Let me see if I can scroll up. It says, thank you for everything, DiBRAVA and CCUSA, the CCUSA team. I know Culture Club USA is going to be huge. Let's hope so. Well, we're trying, right? We're having fun, and that's all that counts. Alexa Cruz. How are you, Alexa? How are you? I'm going to see you very soon. You know that. Alexa's also here in New York with us. And who else? Did I miss anybody? Letso. He's in the chat. Hello. Okay. I think we're ready to get started, right? All right. Now, here's the thing. I stumbled upon this debate, and first of all, I was like, wow, this is very interesting. But what really struck me, and the reason why I wanted to do it, is the church. It reminded me of the church, the state of desperation that the church is actually in, okay? We are in desperate times, and it's like, I feel personally that the TradCon movement is basically the church movement. It's basically the church trying to acquiesce to women because women are basically their biggest consumers. It's about money. It's about losing members. Okay, times have moved into a different direction. When you see the church supporting a lot of the things that the church supports, the church is no longer the same, right? It's very funny because I have my thoughts on TradCons. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I don't believe there is any such thing as a traditional conservative, which is, if you don't know, that's what a tradcon is, right? I don't believe that it's possible. We are living in modern times, okay? Unless you are literally Amish, living in Amish country, okay, in Pennsylvania, or you are, I don't even know if you can say a Hasidic Jew is even part of that, because they still work in modern areas, in modern, stores, B&H Photo. If anybody's ever come to New York, they're all working there. So I don't believe there is any such thing really as a traditional conservative if we're living in modern America. It doesn't exist. Now, can you have the same ideologies of a traditional conservative? Yes. But I don't think it's possible to be a tradcon. So this is a very, very interesting debate. Now, I'm very unfamiliar with this actual podcast. It's called Pints with Aquinas. And this is a debate between Pearl and Trent. Okay. Now, he is a total tradcon. Now, we are going to really have a lot of fun with this one. You are going to see a side of tradcons that I don't think I've ever seen. I thought Michael Knowles was bad. I mean, a good example of what I'm saying here about the church is when you have Michael Knowles sitting to do a sit-down interview, okay, with a porn star prostitute, you're reaching. So you didn't know him before. I mean, it makes Ala Ray is her name, okay? She is a OnlyFans corn star. Okay, I have to be careful what I say here. Queen Vlogs is in the house. Hello, Queen. You know about Nala, right? So here's the thing. Nala Ray, a lot of people are saying she found God. Well, how did she find God? She's known God her whole life. Her father is a pastor. You found God? So you didn't know him before. I mean, it makes absolutely zero sense. Zero sense. So this debate is mind-boggling to me. Pay close attention to the tradcon. Are you guys ready to get into a little Pearly things? Now, I'm going to introduce this with my London accent, since Pearl, although she's not from Britain, she lives there, and it's awfully interesting to talk in this accent. I find it to be very amusing. So let's get into the debate on whether marriage is a good thing or a bad thing for men. Is it a good deal or a bad deal? Let's dive in. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, all right? You ready? All right, let's begin.
G'day and welcome back to the debate. Before we jump into cross-examination, I want to invite you to consider becoming a local supporter at mattfrad.locals.com. When you do, you get a ton of free perks in return. I just had an almost 3-hour discussion with Jordan Peterson a couple of days ago. That's available right now over on Locals. Also, when you become an annual supporter, you get our free Pints with Aquinas beer stein. You get a ton of other things in return, but I don't have time to tell you about them. So mattfrad.locals.com, and a massive thanks to those of you who want to keep supporting the channel so we can keep bringing great guests on.
My God, he sounds like a pastor right there. You might as well pass out. I mean, you're going to pass out the basket and make a donation too? This is going to be good. This is going to be good. This is actually one of the strangest debates I've ever seen. It's very, the setup that he does, like, Pearl is going to talk for an hour, and then this one's going to talk for another hour, and then you're going to do this, and you can interrupt, and you can't, and this and that. I mean, it's just like some of these things are so wacky, but it is Pearl, and it is going to be interesting. Okay, I digress.
It's on. Okay, so we are going to go into a time of 20-minute cross-examine, and I'm going to explain what it is for our viewers, okay? So Pearl's going to begin. And in cross-examine, she is free to lead the discussion however she wishes. She is welcome to interrupt Trent, to redirect Trent however she pleases. This is her time, so it's not considered rude if she does that, and vice versa when Trent does that.
Do you think that women should be obedient to their husbands?
Yeah, I think that they should be obedient to their husbands when their husbands give them a rational request or directive. But I think that husbands and wives should lead each other to Christ and to the goodness of their family.
Lead each other to Christ and the goodness of their family. Okay. Do you guys see where this is going? See how much fun this is going to be? This is literally the TradCon movement. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, is all about the church. Okay. So the idea, this debate is about whether marriage is a good deal or a bad deal for men. Okay. Now, let me just say this. Just off of what he's saying right now, I want you to pay such close attention because here's the thing. Marriage is a sacrament. It's a holy sacrament if you're religious. When did the government get involved in church? I mean, in marriage, actually in church too. But think about it. Think about it. I mean, first of all, we all know the church these days, right? Like I'm Catholic, for instance, right? The Catholic Diocese is one of the richest organizations, nonprofit organizations in the world. The amount of land that they own alone, okay, is mind-boggling. So at the end of the day, it's like, is this about God? This is the question I have, okay? And you guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this in the chat. Is this about God or is this about something else? Is this about God or is this about control? Is this about God or is this about money? Is this about God and a sacrament called marriage or is this about power? Okay? All right.
So what do you define as rational?
In accord with reason. So something that doesn't go against what reason would dictate.
Can I have an example?
Of
So
something,
like I'm assuming crimes.
Of something that's rational or irrational.
Yeah, irrational.
Yeah, if a husband says
like obviously no crimes, right?
Yeah, or if a husband says,
well, I agree. I mean, that's a deal breaker, right? Crimes. I mean, that's pretty much a deal breaker. You know, if it's like you know, if your husband is like a serial killer or he's telling you to go, I mean, obviously that's a deal breaker.
As you know, I want you to lose a massive amount of weight, for example, that would put someone's, if your husband wants you to do something to change your body that would put your health at risk, I would say that's irrational. Okay, but a normal amount of weight would be fine. I would say I think it's fine for husbands and wives to want each other to be healthy, but it's very quickly that if a
now hold on a second. Now, you know, okay, a massive amount of weight. It's a massive amount of weight, of course. I mean, here's the thing. When we're talking about weight, okay, of course, you know, as time goes on, women gain weight slightly. I mean, but there are limits. Here's the thing, though. Should your husband be able to say, "Hey, honey, you know, you're getting a little bit, you know, out of control. Let's reel this in, all right?" You know what I'm saying? I mean, Pearl does this a lot with the weight thing. I don't completely agree with her, but there is reason here. Right? If you're unhealthy and you're overweight to the point where you're unhealthy, you should do something about it, and it should be fine for your husband to say something, right? My thoughts.
But it's very quickly that if a husband or a wife asks for a person to be of a certain weight, that can easily be more of it out of a desire for vanity than for the other person's well-being.
But what about health?
What about health? I think it's fine. I think it's good for husbands and wives to want each other to be healthy.
No, but I'm asking the husband. Why do you always bring it back to the husband? Because I'm asking about the wife. I didn't ask you about the husband.
Because I'm saying
for the husband, can he ask that his wife stays a certain weight? Is that rational?
It's rational for him to ask her to be healthy, but staying at a certain weight your entire life, that's not necessarily going to be healthy. Like saying, "Oh, I want you to always be 120 pounds." Like, "Hey, I got pregnant. Oh, you're kind of getting past that now. I don't like that."
Okay, but hold on. Fine, okay? But how much weight is too much weight, okay? Because a lot of women gain an insane amount of weight. Is that acceptable? I'm going to go with no. But obviously, as you age, your body changes a bit, things happen, and, you're going to gain, 5-10 pounds, every 10 years or something. You know what I'm saying? It's possible. That's acceptable, I would say. But if you met somebody and they weighed 120 pounds and then, you had a baby and now you're at 320 pounds, don't you think that's a problem? Like he never really will go there. Watch. It's crazy.
That would be irrational.
He would not be allowed to do that under your thought.
I think it would be insane if a man said that his wife needs to stay a certain.
Why?
To
Why? Like, what's wrong with men having standards? What's wrong with that?
Pearl, you do realize that that's absolutely, like, literally there was a joke in The Office where BJ Novak says some supermodels lose weight when they're pregnant. That shows that he's just an insane chauvinistic person.
Actually, well, what is he talking about? I have a friend that's actually a model who had a baby and actually lost weight. It's just what her body did. It's not, she didn't try to lose weight. I mean, you're not trying to lose weight. Like, everything has to be extremes with him. This is my point, okay? It's always an extreme. It's always an extreme, and it's like he's constantly making an excuse for a female. This is what the tradcons do. Now, while we're watching this, I want you guys to think about Michael Knowles and how the Daily Wire acts. You notice how they let women, like, how do you have prostitutes being interviewed with and everything's okay. Oh, it's okay. You were an OnlyFans prostitute. Oh, it's okay. You were a porn star. You found God now. Come on over to the Daily Wire. It's like, well, not necessarily. You know what I mean? All right.
To demand that a wife stay.
What? And let me say hello to Oklahoma Outlaw Audits. Hello. Brandon Mitchell is in the house. Hello. Welcome. Okay.
At a certain weight, even though as you get older, you naturally gain weight. And especially when you get pregnant, you gain at least 9 pounds of weight. That would be insane to demand that someone stay at their certain weight.
Women lose it all the time.
I fail to see how any of this is relevant to marriage, by the way.
Well, what I'm trying to understand is...
He said, wait a second now. Do you guys think that this is not relevant to marriage? I mean, come on. There has to be some relevance to this conversation to marriage, right? I mean, if you marry somebody and within a year after the honeymoon, they turn into a whole other person, do you think that's fair? Is that fair? I don't know. Let me know. I don't think so. There has to be some, you have to draw the line somewhere. You can't just make excuses constantly.
Your mindset. So why can't men have standards in marriage? Because if you're saying that men can't have standards in their own marriage, like you're saying it's irrational for a guy to demand his wife stay a certain weight. Why? Why is that wrong?
To stay a certain weight during their entire marriage?
Why? Why is that wrong?
Because
I've seen women do it.
Would you like me to answer the question?
Go ahead.
Okay. Because biologically, our bodies change over time. They'll naturally gain and lose weight in different circumstances. And your worth as a spouse, whether you are a husband or a wife, is not derived by...
Look at Pearl's face. She's like, Now look, Pearl, this is where I do kind of agree with Trent, okay? You're not going to be the weight you were in high school forever, all right? If you're 16 and you're 110 pounds, when you're 50 or 60, you're probably going to maybe weigh like 120. I mean, you can't be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes she goes totally overboard. I mean, let's be realistic here at some point. I'm just saying. All right.
A husband or a wife is not derived by your weight. That's just a shallow thing. Now, I think that both husbands and wives should encourage the other to should encourage.
It's your job to be attractive.
I think husbands and wives should both maintain attractiveness.
Right, but why do you always have to bring it back? Because why do you only focus on women? Right now, because we're asking about the deal for men. Yeah. So I'm looking at this from the man's point of view.
Now, what do you guys think about that? Because he does say, why do you only focus on women? They're both, and she does only focus on women pretty much. I don't really hear Pearl coming at men at all. I mean, in the instance of marriage, okay, we're talking about government marriage, all right? I don't feel that there is any way to come at women because in that instance, everything is in the favor of the woman. It is never in the favor of the man. Never. Not one single time can you ever show me that if you go to court, okay, and there is one person in my neighborhood, and I'm not even going to say, all right, mum's the word, all right? I'm going to get in trouble for this one. Where the man is very wealthy. It cost him, I'm talking in over $1 million, okay, to not only get custody of the kids, all right, but and I won't go any further, but that doesn't mean it's favoring the man. So what happens when you're not a multimillionaire? What happens? So the only way, and there's no guarantee, and I have something real fun for you guys after this. Wait till you see what I show you after this. You want to see how it really goes for men? That's coming up. But you get where I'm going with this, right? I digress. Wait, let me say hello to the chat. Okay, Andrew, I wish I was the weight I was in high school. LMAO. Come on. I mean, first of all, I'm going to be honest here. I don't feel that men and women are totally different, okay? Men can gain weight, can do different things. To me, it really doesn't matter. I mean, if you're going to be like in a situation where it's unhealthy and you're in an obese situation, that's just not healthy. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, and the same thing with women. I mean, we can't be ridiculous here. We're not going to go around like Lizzo promoting that, acceptance, like fat acceptance is health. That is not what I'm saying at all. But let's be realistic here. I mean, women, well, especially if you're married and you're in a relationship where, your husband's working and you're just a housewife. What is your excuse, really? To not say in somewhat of shape. Okay, we have someone new. Now, how do I pronounce this? RKV2? Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Brandon Mitchell. I weigh the most I've ever weighed in my life, 175. But you're a dude. And besides, what is 175? That's like nothing, right? For a guy. I'm not good with like weights. I know my weight and what I need to stay in, and I try to stay like in a 3-pound limit. But that's just me. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, if you're pregnant, you're going to gain weight and so on and so forth. All right, I digress.
Men. Yeah. So I'm looking at this from the man's point of view. What does the man get out of it? Is this a good deal? He can't even ask for an in-shape wife.
He gets a woman
who can't even say 120
Can I answer the question?
Pounds?
Can I answer the question?
I'm asking.
He gets a woman who's promised to stay with him, even though statistically he'll gain 30 or 40 pounds.
And that because
does she have the right?
Women's job has far more of a job to be beautiful than men. Men's job is to protect and provide.
So do women
like,
have a right
what is wrong with a man asking that she says,
oh my gosh, wait. I'm not going to say, my Pilates teacher's in the chat. She says you look perfect. I need more Pilates. You can never get enough Pilates as far as I'm concerned. SBW. Hello. By the way, my Pilates teacher, now you know how I feel about female pilots, right? She's also a pilot. Now we're going to have a real fun show with her because you know how I feel. She wants me to get in a plane with her. Now, is she going to be able to get me on that plane? We'll see. All right.
Says a certain weight.
Because it's shallow. It's fine to ask someone to be healthy, and it's fine to encourage your spouse to maintain attractiveness, not to just let yourself go. But that's the same for husbands and wives. Neither should just let themselves go. But at the same time, each one should be merciful, knowing that time and age come for all of us.
The reason that the obesity, I've looked that up before, the reason that the men are more overweight than women is because you don't look at visceral fat. So like when men are very high, like muscle percentage, they're still considered overweight more so than women. So a more accurate way to look at that is visceral fat. And women.
Okay, now Pearl's a nutritionist. Come on, Pearl. Are you a nutritionist? Now she is an athlete. She did play basketball. So, I don't know. I mean, you tell me, SBW. She said she can't wait. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know about a female flying me anywhere. All right. Now we're going to see if she can convince me. All right. Now I will say this. If I was ever going to get in a plane with a female pilot, I would say it would have to be her. But she's like military. She's on a whole other level. Okay. She's not one of these Instagram women that's like, oh, I think I'm going to be a pilot now because it's so cute. Like, oh, I don't have those guys, but let me put my glasses on. I want to be a pilot. Hi, I'm a pilot. I'm in aviation. No. Okay. That's not what we do. All right.
Women have higher rates of visceral fat than men. So actually women are more, and if you look at extreme obesity, women are more obese.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't know why you're like kind of lying with that stat, trying to act like.
Actually, you know what? I don't even know. Are women more obese? First of all, this country has a serious problem. There are children. I mean, I did an episode on Ozempic. When I was doing the research on that, I was in utter shock. So we're approving a drug that you inject for children. I mean, there has to be some lines that are drawn, okay? Exercise, but like if you're married, certain things, like a man expects you to pretty much stay in shape. I don't think that's much to ask, right? You shouldn't have to go get an Ozempic in order to stay in shape, is what I'm saying, right?
Like men are equally obese. They're not.
Well, men are still overweight, but that still doesn't
Right, but
that still
it
doesn't
goes
show
back to
none
the-
of that
okay,
shows
so
marriage is a
next
bad
question,
deal for
should men marry women that have had abortions?
Should men marry women
Yes
that
or
have had
no?
abortions?
Should men marry women that have had abortions?
I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker.
Should men marry women with STDs?
I wouldn't say here.
A quarter of women have heard.
Oh my God. Okay, now you know I'm against abortion. That's just me. I don't believe in birth control. Did she just say STDs and he's like thinking about it? Okay, see, this is what I mean. This is the example of what the church, okay, the trad cons, because they are all about the church, all about God, all about marriage. This is where it's gone. Okay, we're talking about STDs, so let's marry prostitutes too, right? That's okay too, right? You see what I'm saying here? You see where this is going to go? All right.
Herpes. Should men marry them?
I'm going to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to answer your question. I would say just as it is not a disqualifier for if a man facilitated an abortion, and 90% of, so for every woman who chooses to get an abortion, 90% of the time, the man is actively or passively supporting it. So just as it's not a deal breaker for a woman.
I'm asking for the future man. I'm not saying this, that he asked her to abort his, this is another.
I have to bring that back. When she asked about STDs, he's saying that it's not a deal breaker. Is he nuts? Is he absolutely nuts? Think about this. You're the example for young girls. So basically, what the trad cons like Trent are saying is very simple. Go be a prostitute. Go start an OnlyFans account. Sow your wild oats and we'll take you. We'll accept it. Really? I mean, this is bizarre to me to even hear a man saying this. This is absolutely nuts. Can you imagine? I mean, I could just imagine my brother coming home going, oh, Dad, yeah, no, she was on OnlyFans. I'm getting married. All right, I'm getting married. And she was a prostitute, but, I'm cool with it. She had a couple of STDs, but, she got a shot. I'm just going to take some pills. It's all going to be good. I mean, what are we talking about? This is nuts.
Passively supporting it. So just as it's not a deal breaker for a woman.
I'm asking for the future man. I'm not saying this, that he asked her to abort his, this is another man's kid. She's had an abortion.
No, what I'm saying is I'm applying an equal standard here. So I would say that it is not a deal breaker for a man to marry a woman who's had an abortion, just like it's not a deal breaker for a woman to marry a man who had facilitated an abortion.
Now, here's what I'm going to say. Okay, Trent, all right, you're all about the church. See what the church is doing? I remember a time when the church was like, if you had an abortion, you were basically kicked out of the Catholic Church. Okay? Go to a Catholic school, somebody got pregnant, guess what? You're booted out. What is this? I don't even understand what this is. This is like, we want money, we need money. The church is failing because people are seeing through the nonsense. Because a lot of the church, look, okay, church has become something else. I'm Catholic. I was born and raised Catholic. I still go to church. There are a lot of things that I do not agree with the church. Sometimes I'm just like, what is going on here? This is a perfect example of it. It doesn't matter if you're Protestant. It doesn't matter what it is. If you are a Christian, which is what a trad con basically is, it's a conservative Christian, all right? Everything's about Christianity. Now it's okay, it's forget, if you had 12, because where does it start and where does it stop? You understand what I'm saying? Where does it start and where does it stop? How do you can't preach one thing and then, push another. Like everything in the church has changed. It's insane. It's like they are so desperate they're hanging on by a thread because people are starting to see through it. Just like marriage. Why is marriage in the government? What the heck does the government have to do with a holy sacrament, which is marriage? What does it have to do with it? Meanwhile, you will never, ever hear any of these tradcons talk about how they're going to get the government out of marriage. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I digress.
Marry women that have slept with over 10 men.
Should they marry someone who's slept with over 10 men? I would say that when you have more sexual partners, that's definitely that's something that's concerning. That could be a red flag.
So you would say no?
But that doesn't apply. I'm not going to say that someone is unmarriageable because of one particular trait.
What about porn?
Okay, what
about
porn?
women that have participated in porn? Should men marry women that have participated in porn?
I would say that that's definitely a red flag, but it is not it's not a deal breaker.
Do you have a son?
Okay. Now, do you get it? That is insane. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Okay? You want to talk about body? Fine. Oh, she slept with more than 3 women, more than 3 men, whatever. Okay, fine. We are sitting here listening to a tradcon, a traditional conservative who's a Christian, brags and boasts about Christianity, talking about an ex-corn star is not a deal breaker for marriage. What planet are we on? Drubu! OMG, seriously? Okay, Queen Vlogs says, life is a double standard forever. It's never going to change. It's become that. I mean, this is absolute insanity. Okay? I mean, God, it's like, I just don't understand how a traditional conservative is sitting here saying that it's okay for an ex-corn star, a prostitute, to marry a traditional conservative. How's that possible? I mean, I'd like to see this. Where is it? I don't understand this. Makes no sense.
Can I ask the questions, Pearl? Because you can keep asking questions and I'll never answer them.
Because I just.
Oh, you see this? And okay. You can keep asking questions and I'll never answer them. You know why? You know why he's never going to answer them? All right? I'll tell you why. Take a look at him. He's got his little white shirt on. Hello, Pearl. Hello, Pearl. I've got a book coming out. And you know what? The women are the ones that buy those books. And the women are the biggest part of the profitability of a church and my books. So I am going to agree with everything a woman says. If something goes wrong in a marriage, you come to see me. And I'm going to say, it's not your fault. It's his fault. Everything is going to be his fault. Okay? Why? Because he is marketing himself. And this is what the church has begun to do. This is what the church has begun to do. Okay? I have a lot of friends that are not Catholic, are not religious, are not this, are not that. Okay? The Catholic Church has made so many wacky changes. There has been a time when the Pope knew that there was abuse going on. Okay? I'm going to say very little here, but you get where I'm going. And it's like, oh, well, they're forgiven. How are they forgiven? I'm sorry. I'm going to go with no.
I'll never answer
because
them.
It just would be easier if I got a yes or no, because you keep giving me these roundabout and I'm just at yes or no.
No, I'm giving you good answers.
Go ahead.
So I'd like to finish about pornography.
Go ahead.
I would say it's not a deal breaker if a woman had participated in pornography. Much the same way it is not a deal breaker. Well, it's something to be very, very worried about. So I'll answer it this way. It's very hard for me to find anything that's a deal breaker for marriage, except for maybe diagnosed severe mental illness, for example, or addiction to drugs, things like that. But that would apply to men and women. So when it comes to pornography, I would say it's very concerning if a woman had previously engaged in pornography, just like it is very concerning if a woman chooses to marry a man who's previously viewed pornography.
But this is my...
Okay, come on, viewed pornography. Okay, look. Let's get on track here, okay? This is about the government. It's about the church and about the tradcons using using this narrative to sell themselves, to make money, okay, to be popular. But let's get to the government part of this. Why is the government in our marriages? For what? For what? It's about controlling men. It's about controlling men, okay? Women are very easily manipulated, right? Right? Which is why they're doing this. This is why these tradcons in the church is all of a sudden, how is it that the church ever got to a point where, why do I have to bring a marriage license to the church to get married? Can you explain that to me? I'm Catholic, okay? You have to go to pre-Caner. You got to do all this, right? Pre-Caner. Well, it's like a course you have to take, right? Why do I have to bring my marriage license? Why do you need a marriage license to get married in the church? Why do you have to bring that to the priest? You get what I'm saying here? Why are we paying to get married in the church? Why does it cost thousands of dollars to go to St. Patrick's Cathedral? It's money, 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 money. And the government has weaponized marriage to control men and to separate us. And that does not help the women, does it? It doesn't help us, ladies. It really doesn't. They want to separate us, right? They manipulate the women. They keep us separate. And they can control the men. Control your money. It's crazy.
Viewed pornography.
But this is my question. It's like, why can't men have standards? And this is what I've noticed from the trad community and like the conservatives. It's like the quality of women keeps going down and down and down. And we can't even definitively say, hey, maybe we shouldn't marry porn stars. Maybe we shouldn't marry overweight women. You know, it's like we constantly get rid of standards for men.
No, I'm fine with standards as long as...
And we can't even... No, you're not, because you're not even definitively saying you shouldn't marry a porn star. You would never in a million years tell your son to marry a porn star.
Do you think he would...
currently work...
Do you think he would tell his son to marry a porn star? Do you think he would tell his son to marry a porn star? I'm just curious. I bet no. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? See the double standards like Queen Vlogs said? It's about money. It's about profitability.
No,
star?
even a previous porn
you said
star.
Former.
Even former. You would never. Come on, someone you loved.
Okay.
And this is why.
You can keep talking, or you can ask me a question. Because I was going to say, I do believe in standards, Pearl. I just believe they should be applied equally. So if women have a past in porn and that makes them unmarriageable, fine. Then we should just say any man who's looked at porn, don't marry him either.
The equal.
Is it okay for men to look at porn?
You can ask that during your cross-examination.
The equal equivalent would be a man that's participating.
First of all, Toe for Life, smash that like button. Thank you so much for the $5 holler. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we have Sam sung, I thought there was separation of church and state, but not in marriage. Guys, we have somebody else new here. The other side is here in the chat. I love it when I see new faces in the chat. Thank you guys for coming in. And let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Sean, hello. How are you? We have Sean in the chat. And he says, what's up, chat and culture club? Wayne is in. Pearl is eating this guy's... Pearl is eating him. Pearl is eating him. Hello. I do not disagree at all with you. I mean, this makes absolutely no sense. This is actually shocking to actually see. He has nothing. Like, so women can do no wrong. So this is what the government does. This is why the government is in marriage. Okay. First of all, it costs money and they control, right? But this is what it does. The minute a woman doesn't like what a man says, what a man does, get a divorce. Guess what? You're done. You are done. You are done. We cannot sit here and pretend that marriage is a holy sacrament anymore. Because it's not. We're in modern times. It's not. Maybe to some people, but very few. The government owns marriage. Literally owns it. And by owning marriage, they own men. They control men. Period. Okay, I digress.
Hated in porn. That would be the equal equivalent if we're really going to go apples to apples here. But what I'm asking is, okay,
and there's lots of men who participate in porn that way.
You know, a quarter of women, up to a third, have an STD. Should men marry them?
Should they marry them?
Yeah.
Just the same reasons would apply if you asked women, should they marry men who have STDs? Because men have lots of STDs. And if it's okay to marry them.
But why is it, what about the men?
Men have lots of STDs and it's okay to marry them. Excuse me, I don't think so. It is not okay to marry a man with STDs. Where's he getting this? Does anybody think it's okay? Like, this is insanity, this conversation. I mean, I am like dumbfounded by this debate. Especially since Pearl is Catholic, whatever, right? Okay. She's not a preacher, right? I'm not a preachy person either, right? As far as that's concerned, because I have my own thoughts about the church and I don't agree with a lot of it, right? Mind you, I do believe in God. He is supposed to be a trad con. He's supposed to be a Christian, all about Christianity and this and that and the other thing. And he's sitting here talking about it's okay to marry a porn star. It's okay to marry an OnlyFans, whatever. You can marry a prostitute. You can marry somebody that's had 30 abortions. You can marry, anybody. It doesn't matter if she's got, if she slept with 300 men or did it on camera and got paid for it. Think about that, all right? And STD doesn't matter if you have a transmitted disease. Who cares? My mind is literally blown here. Anybody else in shock? Okay. Hello? Yes. Gynocentricism. Yes. I don't know how to say these. I'm going to call you Arc, okay? Arc 2. I got nicknames for everybody.
It's like the
because men and women
thing.
are equal. Men and women are equal, and we should treat them equally.
It's the craziest. I don't think men and women are equal.
Are they equal in value and dignity?
No,
Sorry, just real quick. Trent, you can ask questions in.
Let me ask you guys a question in the chat. Do you think men and women are equal? Do you think men and women are equal? I'm just curious. I don't want to be equal to a man. I don't know where this notion, came in that we're equal. I don't want to be equal to a man, okay? I don't want to have to do things men do. We are very different. I don't see how there's anything equal about it. Women have things that men cannot do, okay? Nor should they want to, although I have to be very careful what I say here. We're in, modern times. So, meanwhile, I don't want to do a man's job. That's just me. I don't know. Any of you ladies want to do a man's job? Do you want to have to go to work? Do you want to have to get all the way? Do you want to have to do all these things? I don't understand it.
You're cross-examined,
Sure.
Mrs. Pearl. So
I'm not coming at this from a religious point of view. What I am saying is that you keep telling men to lower their standards because you were saying wife up these whores. 3% of women, 100 years ago, men got a virgin. They got a virgin, 4+ kids. 3% of women are waiting till marriage nowadays. You're saying wife them up anyway. Doesn't matter the risk. Who cares?
Do you have a question, Pearl?
So, yeah,
What do you guys think about that, by the way? What do you think about that? Do you think that we've been tricked as women with feminism? The whole, feminist movement? Go get a job, go do this, go do that. Yeah, some things I understand. But do you think that, think about the amount of women that are single mothers, that are literally working 2-3 jobs to survive. Do you think that this feminist movement was a trick? Because it sure is a lot harder on the woman as far as that's concerned in the end of the day, unless you're with a man that's financially, in a position to be bankrupted. Because the government in marriage doesn't just affect the wealthy men. It affects all men, even men with no money. It's insane some of the things that you'd see. Somebody working a man who can barely survive to take care of his family. The woman decides that she wants to leave. They get a divorce. And now, not only can he not support the family or himself, or you get what I'm trying to say? It's absolutely insane.
I'm going to go back to STDs, not a deal breaker. Yes or no?
No, they're not. If they're not a deal breaker for men, they're not a deal breaker for women.
Okay.
Anybody in this chat think that STDs are not a deal breaker? I never in my life thought that I would hear a traditional conservative, a tradcon, speaking this way. This is nuts.
On top of that, porn, not a deal breaker?
Having been involved in pornography?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be very concerned about. The same as if a man had been behind the camera doing OnlyFans work or working at OnlyFans. But if he's truly repented, then people can really change, and we should give them...
What? Behind the camera at OnlyFans? I mean, is he insane? Behind the camera at OnlyFans? Okay, first of all, there's a huge difference between men viewing porn, okay, and women participating in it as a job for a living on camera, getting paid to sleep with God knows how many men as a job. I mean, that's not a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker for both. I mean, ladies, I don't know, anybody in the chat here, are you going to marry a porn star? Are you cool with that? You cool with some guy that's up with like 3,000 women on camera on OnlyFans? You cool with that? I mean, working the camera, really, Trent? Do you see what I'm saying? He will make every excuse. Everything's like the extreme. No, you know darn well that Pearl is not talking about somebody operating a camera. Okay? I mean, stop it. And we're sitting here talking like, what, this is a union job? I mean, how many of those, okay, are there? Really? I'm going to go with no.
Mercy, whether they're a man or a woman.
People can change, but it doesn't mean they statistically do. Mm-hmm. And women that have made those decisions, statistically, the grass, statistically, it's not a happy ending for most of them. So that's the other question. Why would you sign up? Would you ever sign a business contract that someone's paid to leave? So me and you are going to do business. And I get a bunch of money and your children if I leave. You would sign that contract.
If you get my children, because maybe we're pairing our YouTube channels together.
Yeah.
That's a darn good question, Pearl. I'm going to give it to her for that one. That is good. Okay, this is getting good. All right, let's see where he goes with this. Let's see where he goes with this. All right.
Together.
Yeah.
Probably not going to sell off my kids on that, but it's very common in business deals, Pearl, where if you have a high value business partner and you really want them to be a part of the venture, you might include things like a buyout clause or severance pay. That's not that uncommon to ameliorate risks or to encourage them to take part in the project.
Okay, so would you...
But hold on a second. Wow, he is really extreme. He is so extreme. Okay, you can... Fine. Business deals. Somebody brings great value. Are you just gonna bring them in and like help, like in their contract? Like Candace Owens right now has a gag order. I mean, is the Daily Wire they paid her what, $8 million, some kind of insane number, right? Okay, and now she feels that she's worth more and she wants to go off, and that's her right to do if her contract's expired. But so should they reward her for bad behavior? Like, think about what I'm saying here. Yes, contracts. Okay, we understand contracts. But in a marriage, if you have children, you're being rewarded for bad behavior. You get what I'm saying? How is this? How does this make sense? How does this make sense? So what's the incentive for women to not get a divorce? What's the incentive? I don't know. The church?
Would you sign the contract or no?
Would I sign a contract? Mm-hmm. You've made it very...
Where I'm paid to leave.
Where you're paid to leave if you're my business partner? Mm-hmm. It depends how much and what risk. Why can't you answer the question? Because your question is underdefined and it can't be answered. You've asked it in a very vague way, so I can only give a vague answer and reply.
Okay, me and you sign it.
How is that underdefined and vague? I don't know. Guys, how is that vague? That's a direct question. Like, okay, anybody around businessmen, right? Right? Contracts are like, you're tough negotiations here. It's not just one-sided. It doesn't just go one way. It doesn't work that way. Now, with the way the government has weaponized marriage, it's all to benefit the woman. It always benefits the female. Does it not? Am I wrong? Give me an example where a government contract called a marriage has benefited a man? Show it to me. I'm dying to know.
Business deal, and in that
Can't
business
even
deal,
fathom it,
and
but go
I,
ahead.
and in that business deal, I get your whole YouTube channel if I leave, and I get your children. Are you signing it?
No,
You all, contracts are meant to be broken. That's why marriage shouldn't be a contract. That's why marriage shouldn't be a contract between the government and two people. Marriage is supposed to be a holy sacrament. It is a commitment, not a contract. Okay? See how that works? Okay, wait, Samsung. Contracts don't apply to women. Exactly. Just cry to escape it. Oh, he looked at her wrong. Oh, he said I need to lose 3 pounds. How dare he? I'm filing for a divorce. I want all your money and I'm taking the children. Okay? Get it? Come on, people. Come on. Come on. I don't know anybody that could say that government marriage does not benefit women over men. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
the point. No, you're not
Because
signing it.
because you haven't.
And this is the thing. They act like it's one-off instances, and this is what the academics tend to do. They'll say, "Here's a study funded by this organization," or "Here's another study," and they want you to not believe what's in front of your eyes. Men are not signing up for marriage today, and you can say it's that marriage is a great deal for men, but men are naturally logical. They do what makes sense. 100 years ago, men were still men. Same software. They married women in 3 months. There's a reason it's gone up to 3 years.
Is that how long? Is that okay? I don't know these stats. Okay, I'm not about the stats, like how long and this and that. I don't know that, right? I do feel that if people like each other, it's pretty. You kind of know fairly quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of know. And back in the day, actually, okay, you met people differently. Today is a whole other world. If you talk to people that are a little bit, from a different generation, the thought of you saying, oh, well, I met my fiance on a dating app or something. I didn't, but I'm just saying. It's nuts to them. But that's how it goes. That's where people meet today. There is no meeting somebody at, a church anymore, or your family introduced you to someone, or they kind of like hooked you up, or friends. It isn't like that. Everybody's meeting on social media or dating apps. That's how it goes. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe when back in the day, women married younger, obviously, right? Now today, women are marrying older, right? Everything's changed. The thing is this, if like women way back in the day, they were still living home until they got married. They didn't leave the house until they were actually married. Now we're in a whole different situation, right? But again, does this help women? Does the government doing that, does it help us or does it hurt us? I don't know. It's a question. It's really a question. I'm not saying marriage is for everyone. I'm not saying that the sacrament of marriage is for everyone. But I also think that a lot of women out here are like, what am I doing in this rat bastard situation? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I work. I can't keep up. You know what I mean? Think about it. I don't know. Gloria Steinem. I don't know if it was such a good move.
Would sign a contract where if you're undergoing significant risk, and the whole point of things that if a marriage divorces is that women undertake risks. If they come and then they give up their careers and they stay home and raise children, for example, and they
the
do that
majority of women aren't doing that. The majority of women are not doing that statistically. Okay. 3 out of 4 women are working. So
see, that's another thing. She's absolutely right about that. The majority of women are not stay-at-home mothers. They're not housewives. The majority of women have to work because modern times, okay, and sometimes it's the woman's fault too, right? Because here's the thing. Women want a lot of stuff. They want the multi-million-dollar house. They want the car. They want this. They want a high-value man. They want all these unrealistic things. And then you have these families that are like literally in debt just for show. It's like, what is important anymore? I'm not saying money is a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. Okay. I don't think money is bad. I don't think that having, goals and striving for things or a lifestyle is bad. What I'm saying though is it important to everyone? And like, how have we gotten in this rat race, so to speak, where it's like that movie? There was an old movie. It was like Keeping Up with the Joneses or something. And it's like everyone's in debt. Nobody owns anything. And that's another thing. Marriage, right? You get married. Like when my parents got married, my mom literally left her mother and father's house to get married. Okay. Literally on her wedding night. My father had a house bought and paid for, furnished, everything waiting for her. Like, this is like bizarre. You know what I'm saying? Of course, different time. Today, it's like, what do you know? Like, rare, very rare, very rare. I'm just saying, this TradCon, I have never seen any traditional conservative male make excuses like this for women. By the way, Andy in the chat earlier, he says, STDs are a definite deal breaker. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Queen Vlogs. A lot of women work until they give birth. Then they go to work after popping out the baby. Yeah, but do you think, let me ask you this. Here's another thing. Here we go with the government, right? Why is the government raising our children? I don't have children, but I'm not an idiot. It doesn't take a rocket science to have common sense. Half the people in this country cannot read. The school system is a mess. Do you think the school system is better now or better when it was like Little House on the Prairie and everyone was homeschooled and mothers actually raised their children? Who is raising your kids? If you're working as a female, who is raising your children? The government, number one, because the schools, the teachers, right? This is how you have all these situations going on where parents are like, the thing happened where, everything was shut down, right? And parents were like, what is going on? What is this curriculum? This is absurd. Oh, well, you didn't know? Well, yeah, you're at work all day. And if you're not at work all day, you're on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and whatever and, Tinder looking at yourself, swiping left and right. This is what we've got. You come to New York City, okay? There are 2 scenarios here, 3. Single girls, everyone knows who's single, okay? Most of them look like bimbos, all right? Even on Park Avenue these days. It is absolutely nuts. Then you have immigrants raising children, right? People that, clearly do not have 2 blonde, blue-eyed, white children that are 3 years old. You get what I'm saying? Pushing strollers while who knows what's going on, okay? And then you have the traditional housewives. But I'm telling you, even in Manhattan, where I live, okay, where it used to just be mothers in tennis outfits, pushing their own children. Now it's like somebody else raising everybody's kids. And this is why when you go to Dwayne Reed and you're like, excuse me, can you tell me where the soap is? They're like, what's that? Huh? Here they are. Let me look that up. Actually, oh my gosh, Andrew sent me something that was absolutely ridiculous. Somebody was some man went into Home Depot, filmed it. Now, this could have been set up, but I don't know. And asked for a hammer. And the workers were like this. They were looking, they were Googling what a hammer was. Is this how nuts we are? Okay, AJ, much love, girl, thank you. Because that's like 2 Starbucks for me. I was off coffee. I'm back on it. It just doesn't last. I cannot live without coffee. Thank you so much. AJOT, go subscribe to her channel. You will love it. AJ, we have got to do a show together. I've got to do a show with you. Please, let's do something together on my channel, on your channel, whatever you want. We can have some fun with some auditor stuff. Maybe I'll take you on a tour of New York, see what's going on with the police out here. Be fun, right? Luffy Gamer is in the house. He's saying hello to Drew. What about me? Hello? How about DiBRAVA? Huh, Luffy? Okay. All right. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into this. Let me know what you guys think about this. This is kind of interesting, right? To see a TradCon just, promoting prostitution and OnlyFans and corn stars. I think it's very interesting. Very profitable. Very profitable, I'm sure, for his books. Because women are buying them.
It's not the majority.
The point is, if they go and do that and they
They're
take
not.
part in a marriage,
They don't want
you're
to.
going to be you're undertaking risks when you're involved in marriage. Well, as I stated before, women are twice as likely to end up in poverty after divorce than men.
Yeah, because women
30%.
are bad with money.
No,
women,
what happens
women
is
are not.
women
Women have
usually
80% of the world's debt. Women have 80% of the world's debt. Women are not good with money. And many
As I
men,
showed in
and,
my
and,
opening
and,
statement,
and many,
men have
and
the
many,
majority of
and
debt.
many, and many men. It's not true. Women
I
have
cited a
80.
study
Women
on
have
that.
women have 80% of the world's debt. And the other thing that
Wow, is that true? Women have 80% of the world's debt? Interesting. Interesting. I know, you know, a lot of my friends, like, you know, like when your parents give you that credit card and you just like run up debt. But I mean, I don't know. Is that true? 80% of the world's debt? SBW LLC. Thank you so much for the super chat. More coffees. I love you guys. I love you guys. Pilates coming up. Okay. That's my Pilates teacher.
that they don't take into account is that
In this country, men have more, but go ahead.
and women have 80% of the world's debt. Women are not great with money, and men earn more as well too. And the thing is, you're not addressing the suicide problem. Do you not think that's a problem?
Of course, suicide's a problem. It's more of a problem for men who never marry.
I'm asking in divorce. They're 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
They're 9 times more likely than a
the veterans
divorced woman. You're misreading.
Wait, let me bring this back. First of all, the walrus is in the house. Hello, DiBRAVA. Hello. Thank you for coming in. I always love seeing you in these chats. Thank you. I appreciate all your support, guys. I really do. Okay, let's see she's saying that men. We're talking about the suit. Let me bring this back. Is that true? I wish I knew these stats.
I'm asking in divorce. They're 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
They're 9 times more likely than a
the
divorced woman. You're misreading the statistic.
And in family court, if they find within 5 years, many men do commit suicide. What do you think? You think it's just made up? You think it's just fake? All these men that are saying my life is ruined.
Yes,
let him answer it. Go
ahead.
No, because I've actually read the studies. And the
Okay.
problem is you're doing the comparison fallacy here. You're just picking, hey, if you get married, this bad thing can happen to you or this bad thing can happen to you. And that's true.
You know, here we go. It's like, again, he panders to women. He is just like the church. Do you ever notice how no matter what, I mean, my mom hopefully is not listening because, you know, she's big in the church, okay? She's got her, you know, groups and all of that stuff. And it's amazing, the things that these women do, okay? I do not look down upon that, right? But the church panders to women. He is pandering to women. He is pandering to women. You can't just sit here and act like women can do no wrong. It is absurd. It is absurd to me for any TradCon especially to sit here and ignore the fact that the government weaponizes marriage. They weaponize it. They use marriage to keep us separate, and they use it to control men. Tell me something. Does anybody know any male that's been divorced that wasn't hit financially? How much does a divorce cost? Think about how much money the lawyers make in divorces. Seriously. The therapists, another toe for life. I got 5 on an AJ Culture Club collab. Yes. Okay, email me at cultureclubusa, AJ. Okay, at Gmail. All right, I'll message you in a chat. Let's do a show. And Toe, you're more than welcome to come in. That's gonna be fun. You see what I'm saying though? Again, I don't understand how marriage is not a bad deal for men. I don't.
That's true. But if you choose to not get married, you can also have many bad things happen to you. You can grow up and have no social connections. You become a recluse and you're more likely to commit suicide. You're more likely just to not take care of yourself. And the statistics show that on average, ever married men, including divorced men, live longer, are healthier, and rate their lives as happier than never married men. It's a statistical fact.
Because women date happy men.
So
women pick for these things.
How do you know that?
Because I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I know what we pick for. We like tall, handsome, good-looking men.
Is every married man tall, handsome, and good-looking?
Not every, but he's usually one of those things. He's usually one. Like he's
very interesting what she's saying. Very interesting. Because, if you think about it, right? Women are going to pick the best man to marry, right? Women, you know what's crazy? Like, it was so funny. My mother was mortified because, a friend of mine like had a list of requirements. She's like, I'm looking for a husband's time now, right? My mother's like, oh, I have this one. I'm going to, and then she was like, did so-and-so, she pulled a list out. A list. This is the mentality today, okay? Requirements, a list.
Usually either successful or handsome or good. It's women don't marry homeless men off the street.
There's a big difference between tall, handsome, and successful and homeless. There's also average.
No, and so my point is women tend to pick above average men. We see this on dating apps. Women swipe right 5% of the time. The number one way people are meeting under 30 is on dating apps.
That's because on dating apps,
but
3
you don't know what you're talking about. You're not even out dating. Like, that's
I do. Because on dating apps, Pearl, the reason that women are so choosy is because there are 3 to 4 times as many men on dating apps than women. Mm-hmm. So men will be constantly swiping right. Women can be more choosy in that environment because there's just so many more men. But in real life, when you look at a 1993 study, another one by Taylor.
But it's not 1993, first of all. Like, first of all, a lot of these people are just delusional. Like, people are not meeting in the church. They're meeting on dating apps. Period. They are meeting on dating apps. That is where people meet their husbands, okay? It's just the way it is. We're in modern times. Like, you can't sit here and act like we are literally in 1990. Like, people meet on apps. If every time you walk down the street, okay, this is what's going on. Where do you think people... You can't go into a... This... Okay. Oh, hold on. Wait. My Twitter. Oh. This is what it is. This is what it is. Modern times.
Or social media.
Another one by Taylor. Taylor done in 2011.
Social media.
I would like to finish. Before Taylor, and Taylor's study in 2011 shows that men and women, when they get married, they tend to be within the same social range and attractiveness. So while for dating and hookups, you're correct, women on social media apps, because there's so many men to pick from, go for the higher quality men. When it comes for marriage, people tend to marry within their own social and attractiveness value bracket.
Right, but that doesn't disprove what I'm saying. Women pick a small percentage of men when given the choice.
That's not true, because I'm talking about marriage. We're talking about marriage, not Tinder.
You wouldn't believe how many people actually meet on Tinder and get married. What is he talking about? We're talking about marriage and not Tinder. Come on. Come to reality. Come to reality. We are in 2024. Okay, Trent? Seriously.
But that's the number one way people are meeting under 30. And that's the thing, like a lot of you guys are so out of touch. You don't see, like, these studies take years to come out at some time. I can tell you firsthand what's going on because I actually talk to the people.
No, I agree. It's dumb to try to meet your spouse on Tinder. That's dumb.
Right, but that's what's happening. Right. That's where the world is going.
Right.
And you're encouraging men to clean up women's mess. And I say men shouldn't have to do that. Men shouldn't have to sign a contract where women are paid to leave. I think it's so simple. If people are paid to do the wrong thing, why wouldn't they do it? Why would, I'm not saying every woman will, but every woman can.
What woman is going to want to say, gee, you know what would be great?
Don't ask questions, let her go.
This guy, this debate is so interestingly weird and good. So far, I'm going to say that Pearl is winning. I mean, we have to give him his chance, okay? But I mean, so far, he's not making good argument. Like, his comebacks are just like, pander to women, pander to women, pander to women. I mean, you have no criticism at all. No criticism at all as to, you can't agree with one thing. Like, so there's nothing in marriage that is a deal, is a deal breaker for men. Like, you don't see why men today maybe won't get married, don't want to get married. You don't see that? You can't see why? I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's look at the chat. Tinder and STDs, everybody. Oh my God. Drew Boo. Again, bingo, Sam. What did Sam say? Sam Sung says, let me tell you about dating today based from 1993 operating system. Oh. Can you guys agree that people meet on apps today? This is how it goes. Am I right or am I right? I think I'm right. All right.
Yeah. Well, I'll go. Well,
You can answer it, but
Yes,
don't
I will
ask her a
answer it. No, the women aren't saying, gee, it would be so awesome if I married this guy and then got full custody of the kids. So now I'm a single parent and I have to take care of these kids. Good thing he sends me $440 a month to help with that. That doesn't sound like a great deal to me.
$440 over 18 years is over $100K. That's life-changing money. That is life-changing. And this is the thing. This is
try
this
raising
is the thing.
children
This
on
is this
three
is
kids on $440 a month.
And this is the thing. This is the other thing that you don't think of. Oh, this is the other thing. See, I'm not used to. I always have to write it down. You said that men don't fight for custody. This is the problem with men in statistics.
First of all, Trent, okay, for an Amazon worker, okay, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. He's delusional. $440 something, okay, for an Amazon worker, which is an average, is a lot of money. What she's saying is actually correct. That's a lot of money. Now, here's the thing. You have multiple kids. Where does that leave you? So a man in a government marriage with a divorce, okay, is basically working to pay the woman for the rent until the kid, forever, basically. Forever, basically. Think about it. Think about it. And then let's not sit here and act like women, okay, don't marry men, have children. Let's talk about it on a different scale. Let's look at these athletes. They're not weaponizing the system. Are you kidding me? Show me one athlete that came out on top in a situation when we're talking about marriage. No, it doesn't happen that way. Look at Andrew. Okay, wait, he's saying the walrus nailed it. Charlie Sheen, I don't pay for sex. I pay to leave afterwards. Oh, God. Oh, this is why I love you guys. That's hilarious. All right. No, listen. Look at Charlie Sheen, all right? Let's look at actors. Let's look at Hollywood people, all right? They're good examples of this. Sports people. I forget who just got a divorce in the sports world, okay? Not Shaq, but whoever. I don't know. Jordan or whoever had to pay like half of everything he made. Do you think that that's fair? Is it Michael Jordan, Andrew? Is it Michael Jordan? I don't know who it is, but some athlete that's worth like $1 billion had to pay like $500 million to the wife. Something. It's just nuts. It's like, so now you get into a situation where you have a lot of girls that are literally only marrying men because they're athletes, because they have money. Then they get a divorce, they have a kid, and then they're paying forever and they're set for life. I mean, do you think that's fair? I'm going to go with no. I digress.
See, I'm not used to. I always have to write it down. You said that men don't fight for custody. This is the problem with men in statistics. This is the problem when people just read studies and they're not actually in the field. You don't know why.
Welcome, Aaron. Yes, Trent is a snob. I agree. Now we're talking about custody. How many men do you guys know? Okay, and Venom KPP is here. This is why I stayed single at 58. LOL. I love it. Women did it to themselves. Okay, blame the feminist movement. All right, blame the feminist movement. All right, and let's marriage. How many men get custody of their children? Okay, and if they do, it comes at a very high price. So now you're talking about you have to be in a position to be able to afford to get custody of your kids. How is that fair? Tell me.
You don't know why men aren't fighting, because a lot of times men are in the position they cannot afford to fight for custody, and the lawyers will tell them not to do it because they spend $50,000. You know, I interviewed one guy, $1.5 million in Texas. $1.5 million on a divorce. He still didn't get primary custody. These cases are common. And if you spent a day in family court, if you actually were in the field, you would know.
Okay, so
that is absolutely absurd. Afford? You can't afford to fight for your children, for custody of your children? We're talking about your own blood, your own DNA. You have to pay. You have to pay to get custody of your own blood, your own DNA. This is absurd. You ever hear of a woman having to pay God knows how much money to fight for custody of her own DNA, her own children? Show it to me. And tell me that the government has not weaponized marriage. Tell me that the government has not turned marriage into a bad deal for the men. I mean, this is absurd. We're talking about your children. How many women use the kids? Use the kids. Okay? In the divorce. How many men don't ever have relationships with their kids anymore because the female, the wife, the ex-wife, is poisoning the minds of the children because they're with her most of the time, like 80 to 90% of the time. If you only see your children on the weekends or every other weekend, how does that work out? How does that work out for you? You think that's a good thing? How is this not a bad deal for men? How? ARK says, imagine telling that to a woman. Exactly. The Walrus says, I miss the days when women were women and the bears were the bears. Would you choose a woman or a bear? A bimbo or a bear? I still choose the bimbo, okay? I still choose the bimbo. Right.
It's an anecdote, and it also doesn't say anything about marriage because if a man hooks up with a woman or cohabits and she gets pregnant, he can have the same issues. So this is not unique to marriage.
Well, yeah, but marriage puts them at a higher risk because they're on the hook for alimony as well.
Alimony is only paid out in 8% of marriages.
I know, but what does a man get out of marriage that he doesn't get out of a live-in girlfriend? What benefit?
Well,
but she's missing something here. Pearl missed something here. Very important, okay? I don't care what the percentage that he's saying that alimony is, okay? Talk to a number of men that are in a divorce. Do you know how much money they end up spending that just is not logged, not like the woman's just like, it's argument after argument after argument. Give me money. I need this. I need that. And they're just like, here, anything. You get it? You know how many men do that? And then later, after the woman has gotten all this money that's like off the record, okay? Because the guy is trying to just make things calm, just wants to get along, right? And then she takes him to court later and says, he never paid me X, Y, and Z. How many times has that happened? Lots. That's a huge point, okay?
Well, he doesn't.
For
one benefit, he's not a 45-year-old guy saying, "Can I bring my girlfriend to the party?"
Who cares?
One, he's not that. He's a mature, stable person.
Okay.
What does he get out of it? He lives longer. He's healthier.
No. What benefit does he get out of specifically signing that contract? What does he get? Women give children outside of marriage, so that he doesn't get that. The women gain weight after marriage. He doesn't get that. And all of the stats you're saying you're attributing to marriage, I would disagree.
Well,
I would say that women tend to marry happy, successful men.
That is just a correlative theory that you have, and that's not true, because if you just look around at men, and when you do longitudinal studies that control for success, you see that's not the case. One longitudinal study found that after a man gets married and upon the
Pearl's like, give me a drink. She's like, let me wet my whistle right now, okay? She's like, I'm going to kill you right now, okay? Nothing you're saying is true, okay? All right, Trent, don't make me get angry. Don't make me get my basketball out. Do you know how strong I am? I played basketball. I came to London to play basketball, and I still can play, and I will dunk you and this conversation. Okay, I mean, come on. He is literally delusional. Delusional. Oh my gosh, Roger Federer, Sam. Okay, Roger Federer. Okay, now I have U.S. Open every year. Okay, U.S. Open. Hello, I love the U.S. Open. So we're talking about Roger Federer. Roger Federer, tennis billionaire, just divorced his 2 daughters, not his. Weaponizing marriage with these athletes and these people with money is just the example. Because here's the thing. This is how I feel. Men who are wealthy, it doesn't hurt them as much. It's like Wes Watson. He's like, I'm rich, ripped, and rare, okay? I don't care. She's paying me I could 100,000. It ain't gonna make a difference. You know what I'm saying? I don't even feel it's 500,000 a month. Ain't making a difference. You know what I'm saying? Give her the money. I don't care. I'm rich, ripped, and rare. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I got another bimbo over here. I'm raising 4 kids here. It doesn't really matter. Now, that's fine for Wes Watson because I'm worth $48 million in the bank. Look what I got a $27 million house on the beach. I got this, I got that. I got every Bugatti, every kind of rim, every kind of freaking. I'm rich, ripped, rare, and roided out. Okay, he forgets the roids. He never wants to bring that up. All right, but here's the thing: it doesn't affect Wes Watson the way it affects the Amazon worker or the mailman or the average person that is just living a decent life, making an honest living. Those are the men that this kills. This is why I loathe the government in marriages, okay? Because you're hurting the average man, and that's disgusting to me, okay? The billionaires and the 100 millionaires and even just a couple, whatever, it doesn't affect them the same. They get another family, they get another divorce, and they pay that one, and it doesn't matter. Everything's a write-off, everything's, go on the yacht. It doesn't matter, but it matters to the average person. It matters to the honest man making a living. That is disgusting. It is disgusting. Okay? The contractor, the like I said, the Amazon worker, okay? The mailman. I mean, the bus driver. And women's attitudes are absolutely disgusting. They want this, they want that, they want this, they want that, but then they don't want to have to stay in shape. They don't want to have to do anything. They don't want to have to raise their kids. They want to run off, get jobs, and probably have affairs with somebody they're working with. You know how many times we've seen that? And then, you thought your boss was going to leave you? You left your husband and your kids, but you thought your boss was going to leave his wife? Oh, honey, it doesn't work that way. He's worth too much money. You see how this goes? Women literally are delusional. Not all. Some women get a very bad hand dealt to them, okay? You want to play poker? Some women get okay? This does not apply to all. Some women are in very messed up situations. But for the most part, what's the divorce rate? Yeah, I'm going to go with it's a really crappy deal for the men, okay? Period.
And gets married, and upon the birth of his first child, he works 10 to 20 hours a week more than unmarried men.
Right, because
the reason they're more successful.
Women love spending men's money. Of course, he's got to work more. Even car salesmen will tell you the final say is who? The woman.
No,
the
it's
wife.
because now he's grown up, Pearl. He's grown up and he realizes life isn't just about him. He has to take care of.
Come on. This is where he's nuts. Any woman in the chat? I like spending men's money. I like spending my dad's money, my brother's money, my cousin's money, my fiance's money. I want to spend everything. I don't want to work. I want to sit here and have fun doing YouTube. I mean, are you kidding me? What? Is he nuts? Women don't like spending men's money. Women like to spend anybody else's money but their own. Okay? Give me my allowance, then I'll spend it on my friends. I want my allowance. You know what I'm trying to say? What planet is he on? Ask any woman if they want to not spend somebody else's money. They don't want to spend their dad's money? I've been spending my father's money my whole life. What is he talking about? This is where it just gets to be stupidity. Come on, Trent. You are literally, he is the biggest simp I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this. It's all about just catering to the woman so they can, listen, this is what he's about. He wants to say to the woman so that they'll go buy his books, right? It's his fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault you gained 190 pounds. It's his fault. It's not your fault that he did this. It's not your fault that you had an affair with your boss. It's his. He didn't pay attention to you. You see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this? Okay? Everything can't be the man's fault. Just saying.
My wife's credit card spending is off the chain, and that's the thing. I am
Men
in the
have
field.
more credit card debt than women.
I am in
They have
the
more credit
field.
card debt than
I am
women.
in the field. That's
expertise?
the thing.
What field? What expertise do you have in
Because
this?
when you actually interview the men that have gone through this, you have a completely different perspective, and that's the thing. Because you can make. We just went through COVID. How many studies did they have? And experts that came out and said COVID. You should take the shot. Oh, sorry. I don't want to YouTube you, but
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that. You know what I'm going to say, though? She has 1 minute left. We'll let her finish this out. But think about it like this. The woman is the government. You understand? They have all the power. They have all the power. Look at the state we're in right now. Okay? We are literally in unprecedented times. A woman can say something and it's just facts. It's just facts. Get it? What's the difference in marriage? I want a divorce. Why? You have to prove why you should get a divorce? If a woman literally wants a divorce, right? It could be just I woke up one day and I just feel different. I don't feel like doing this anymore. Okay? I want half your money. I don't care. I'm just done. That's it. Women are the government. Women are the government. We're going to get into that later. I got a fun one for you guys. Let's let her finish her little minute. They got time limits over here.
But my entire point is you can make a study that says anything, but if you look at reality,
so studies are wrong except for the ones you cite for your positions.
If you look at reality, you would never sign a contract that someone is paid to leave, and there are just not enough wives to go around.
You have 40 seconds left. Feel free to ask him more questions.
She's like, no. No. Oh my God. Look at the two of them. Look at the two of them.
No, I think that's it.
All right.
No, I think that's it. Okay. Now we're going to see Trent. Okay. Now we're going to see what he's got to say and how Pearl reacts to this. Let's just get right into it.
Have equal basic value, like equal dignity.
Let me bring that back. Did I miss something here? Here we go.
Have equal basic value, like equal dignity.
What do you mean by dignity?
They have the same intrinsic goodness. Men and women are equal in their basic value, their goodness as human beings.
I think that, because it depends, right? It depends how, I think that men do more good in society than women. And I'm assuming that's the tweet you're talking about. But
no, I'm asking because earlier I said men and women are equal and you denied that. And I said, I agree that men and women are unequal in many ways. But surely, for example, do white and black people have equal dignity?
Yeah, sure.
Do men and women have equal dignity?
Sure.
Okay, good. That's really good to hear. All right.
Just let it keep going. Come on, you got to come with something good. All right. Come on. I want to see where you're going here, brother. Let's go.
So you say marriage is a bad deal for men. For a marriage that does so, because a majority of marriages do not end in divorce. For the marriages, at least let's say this, for the marriages that don't end in divorce, are those bad deals for men?
If the wife gained a significant amount of weight, I would say bad deal. Most men don't want a fat wife, I would say. If the wife cheats, I would say bad deal. Most men don't want a cheating wife.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but nobody wants cheating, all right? Men don't want cheating, women don't want cheating, and nobody really wants, come on. I mean, this is, basic stuff. That's not what this is really about, though. This is about the government. This is about how the government uses marriage to control men financially and in other ways. Okay? That's what this is really about.
If they're in a sexless marriage, I would say bad deal. Most men I think most men, if you said, hey guys, do you want to get married? Your wife isn't going to sleep with you after you have 2 children. They would say, oh, hell no.
What?
Oh, hell no.
Pearl, what would be... Wait,
I'm dying. What is he going to say right here? What is he going to say right here? First of all, I don't even understand. How does that happen? Whoever, married people, is that true? Just people don't have sex. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Now, if you're a female and you're not having sex with your husband, well, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? Seriously. Okay, who's in the chat? Mankey, you look like you give the best. Okay, hello. We are not going to read nasty chat. All right. Somebody's got to put him in a timeout. Okay? We don't do that. Okay? Do I look like Nala Ray to you? Is my hair red? Am I singing Disney songs? Do I look like a Disney character to you? Queen. Oh, come on.
What would be the best? Let's say a man says, I would like a long-term sexual relationship with a woman.
Okay.
What would you say is the best relationship kind for him to obtain that?
What do you mean by best?
If a guy says to you, Pearl, I would like a long-term sexual relationship with a woman, what kind of relationship should I pursue? Marriage, cohabitation, dating? Which would be the best strategy?
It depends on the state you're in, because some states have different states have different laws.
Just in general. Would you say...
different states have different laws, right? Just like different judges have different thoughts and different this and different that. See, this is like how marriage should just be a thing between two people. Why are all these people involved in controlling your life? I mean, let me ask you a question. Would you like the government, which, you know, you want a smart house and the government just at any time can just look in on your marriage and see how it's going? And I mean, think about it. That's really what's going on here. This is nuts. Like the government is controlling families, just like the school system, controlling your children. They're literally raising your kids. It's nuts.
There's no general answer, because it would depend on the state.
Why would it? Because what you're saying is that the harm...
For example,
let me finish, because I get to interrupt now, and that's where it gets fun.
Go ahead.
Because what you're saying is, well, it's not... even though the majority of marriages don't end in divorce...
Yes, drop the hammer, Andrew. I like dropping the hammer. This is fun. Look, there's free speech here, but come on. We're not going to do nastiness, all right? Okay? This isn't a deviant channel.
You still say those are a bad deal because women gain weight, even though men gain weight also. But
what about the men, though?
Do men in long-term cohabiting relationships, do those women gain weight?
Not as much, but the difference is it's easier to get out of. So if a woman gains weight, it's much easier to break up with a girlfriend than it is a wife.
Okay.
So you're able to have higher standards.
How much weight can a woman gain in marriage before you consider her unmarriageable?
Depends on the guy.
What are these questions? This is him just reaching, okay? Reaching. I know. He's thrown off. This is like from his era, I think. Tell me, why are you lying to Pearl? Just because she's an unmarried girl. She's destroying your TradCon world. Eventually, she's gonna take you down. All right? Do we need to get Prince involved for you to understand this? Stop. I mean, come on. Like, people, what is this weight thing? How many times are we going to talk about weight? Okay, women age, men wage, people gain a little weight. We all understand what the point here is. You can't turn into another human being or be unhealthy or be on the road to being diabetic or being sick. I mean, come on, this is basic crap. Like, I'm so tired of hearing about the weight thing. Who cares? Move on. Stay in shape, do everything you can. Things happen, yes, but get off of it already. Is this like the only thing he can keep coming back to? Why? Because he wants to sell books to women. So he can say, oh, you can gain 300 pounds. It's his fault you did it because he had you stressed out. What? You know what I'm saying? This is nuts. It's like a whole marketing ploy on the TradCon theme. It's a whole more subscriptions to the Daily Wire, more, prostitution, more Nala Rays. Who knows? They're going to have a wedding now on the Daily Wire. I mean, Nala Ray is probably going to be replacing Candace Owens. That's my theory. Okay. I mean, seriously, come on.
I think it's unfair, more than like 20 pounds, 15 pounds. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are you doing, ladies? Get on the treadmill.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay, and I think it's good for women. I think it is good for women if men have standards.
But according to that Gordon Larson study, cohabiting women gain. What was it?
The studies I've seen, it's 18.
Less. Less, but
First of all, Glenn Lawrence is in the chat. Hello, Glenn. He says, "Oh, you should send me the link and let me chime in on this discussion." I don't have a link, unfortunately. I'm not, I have like a different setup, but you know what, Glenn? We should do a show about this. Why don't we set up a show? Let's do a show and talk about this. What do you say? Yes? Let's do it. Okay, and we have, is it Nikon P1000 Skyview? Okay, I love the little microphones. Here's now, isn't it sweet? Isn't it grand? Now I can be more than an only world's fan. How much corn can I do? Mom, now I'm everything. I've got thousands and thousands of corn movies. All right? Like, literally. That whole situation with Nala Ray was just, to me, like the oddest thing. Okay, fine. If she found Christ, amen. I think it's amazing if she found Christ. But yes, Glenn, we should. We are going to. All right, let's do it. Because I want to know what you think about, Nala Ray. Because the problem I have with Nala and this whole TradCon thing is that how did she find Christ? Her father was like a pastor. You were raised with Christ. It's not like you came from a broken home. You were an orphan. Fine. I can understand that more. But there's really no excuse. You were raised in a good home. Your father was a pastor. You didn't know Christ? I think that it's just something she wanted to do. All right. I digress.
I've seen around 10. I've seen 10.
That's the study you're citing for 24 pounds gain. They gain 18 pounds in marriage. People, the problem is, if you're saying that it's a bad deal for men to be in a relationship where women gain weight, and if women gain weight in all relationships, aren't you really just saying women are a bad deal for men, not marriage?
No, I'm saying that women, the difference is in a long-term relationship, you can say you need to change or I'm going to go. And women tend to act better when men have standards.
Okay. Do you...
What do you guys think about that? See, I'm going to say something. It's not that I don't believe in marriage. I'm engaged, okay? I don't believe that the government should be involved in a holy sacrament. I don't believe that marriage is supposed to involve the government. That's how I feel. Period. Because, there's too much opportunity to get married for the wrong reasons. And 9 times out of 10, who benefits from a divorce? Not the male. I don't believe in it. I do believe in marriage. I do believe in commitment, okay? I 100% do. I do believe in people growing together. I do believe in family, all of that stuff. But I don't believe in government marriages, okay? I digress.
Do you agree that married men rate themselves... do married men live longer than unmarried men?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so that's...
Because I think women tend to pick healthier men. Okay. I mean, I'm a woman. We want, why do you think women are throwing themselves at these like NBA player? We want the good genes.
Are most men who get married not NBA players?
No, but you can...
Come on! Are we all dumb? I mean, I know we're in the dumbing down of America, but come on, do we not have common sense? I love it how people just think people are so stupid. It's like, no, we're not stupid. It's just like our government right now. Do you really think that the people are that dumb? Okay, they're not. They're not, okay? People are not blind. I mean, really? Duh. We know. I mean, how many people are, professional athletes? I mean, duh. Come on. This is him reaching. This is him really, really reaching.
See, when you look at the men that women are throwing themselves at, you can see what women select for.
Okay. So, but you would agree, though, that even if that is correct, even if it's correct that women choose men who are happier and healthier, if a man chooses to get married, then that would seem that he is or has made himself to be a happy, healthy individual.
Yeah,
right?
if he gets
successfully marries.
Can you say the question?
If a man successfully marries a woman, does that mean he has become a happy and healthy individual?
What is, see, when he says successfully marries, what does that mean? Why does the government have to be in a marriage for it to be successful? What is marriage, actually? What is marriage? See, Glenn and I actually were having a conversation the other day. Okay, I can start a live and send you the link, and we can do a dual stream. I don't have that kind of setup. Maybe I'll talk to my producer and see if I don't even know if that can happen. Here's the thing. Glenn and I were talking, and Glenn, maybe after this you can start a live. We could talk. The thing I'm going to say is this: when you are a traditional conservative, like the people on the Daily Wire, and you realize that there is a serious problem, okay, with the government being involved in the marriages, and that it's no longer about the church, but you're about the church, but you do nothing about it. What does that mean? What does that mean? So literally, the Daily Wire, all these, they're like acquiesce to women. Women can do no wrong. It's, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, but you're about men because it's men talking about how men can better themselves, but you're going to ignore the fact that women weaponize marriage by using the government to destroy men? I just don't like the fact that the government can tell a man how many times a week or month he can see his own children. That is nuts. But you got to pay for them, though. But you got to pay for them. That is insane. That is absolutely nuts. I digress.
Not because of the marriage,
No,
but
but
she was probably selected because he was that type of person.
So he's made himself into that kind of a person. He's disciplined himself. He's, made himself at least somewhat successful, happy and healthy. Okay, good. So he becomes that.
I wouldn't attribute it to marriage, though. I would attribute it to them. Like, I think men are going to do what they're going to do. They're on a mission.
On average, though, does marriage take that away from men, their happiness and their health?
I would say yes. I would say there are more men in unhappy marriages than happy. Out of the original 100 that got married.
Do you have a
so
okay,
if you take the I'm answering the question.
Go ahead, sure.
You want.
That's fine.
So, this
She's like, I'm answering the question. Give me a second. I'm answering it. All right. Let's see what's going on. Glenn. Okay, Glenn Lawrence says, they think as long as you stay married, that means success. Exactly. You're talking about the tradcons, right? There are a lot of marriages that last a lifetime, that the two people hate each other. 100% pastor, producer, Glenn. You guys, if you're not following Glenn Lawrence, Drew, somebody put his link, the link for his page up on the chat. First of all, guys, okay? Drew, can you put Glenn's channel in the chat so people can find him? If you want to have a discussion about this, if you want to hear about this, you got it. Glenn, we have got to set up a show. We've got to talk about this somehow. I wish I had the capabilities to bring you in on this system, but I don't. I don't use stream yards or any of that stuff. We have to talk. We have got to talk about this. This is a good conversation for us because nobody knows about this more than Glenn. All right, I digress. Let's get back into Pearl.
Sure.
You want?
That's fine.
So the study you're talking about, 35%. I've heard that's a bit dishonest. I've heard it's more 50%, 45% of marriages end in divorce. The last one was from 2023. I know it was a little off because of COVID, but I think if you include sexless marriages, women that belittle their husband, that's really common. Women that make fun of their husbands in public.
You're taking it away from my main point. So you're claiming that these happy, healthy men who get married, the majority of them, they lose their happiness. Do you have a study that shows that? Because let me finish. Okay. I have cited the General Social Survey, the Gallup survey.
Bro, when she grabs that drink, it is just so funny. Look at her face. She's like, I'm thinking, how am I going to destroy him? Oh, give me a drink. God, I just can't stand it. I'm sorry.
Hundreds of thousands of people who are tracked. Harvard Adult Study, 80 years, that married men rate themselves as happier and healthier. And
right,
the majority of them do.
But you're attributing that to marriage.
I'm not. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that even if marriage is negative in some ways, It doesn't take that away from them. You're making the claim that the majority of married men aren't happy, but you have no study to back that up.
I'm saying that you can back it up when you look at 40%. Let's say 40% of marriages end in divorce. Okay, 40%. Now you have.
See, that's okay. She's going like the divorce rates tell you. I mean, do we need a study for that? It's just facts. Divorces are governments. Hello, it's a legal thing. It's a legal document, just like a marriage is a legal document. See, so we know how many people are divorced. So clearly somebody's unhappy. And if the divorce rate is that high, what are we talking about here? And if any man, okay, especially this man, I mean, he's insane. All of these men are nuts. If you're going to sit here and tell me that women do not have all the control in the divorce, I don't understand it. Let's talk about men in court. Let's talk about men in court. Want to talk about divorce? Let's talk about men in court. What rights do men have in court? What are their rights? What rights do men have? You go to court, you get a divorce, you have to pay the woman, you have to pay for the kids. A judge tells you when you can see your children. And a woman gets to act and behave however she pleases. And it's always in her favor, mostly, right? I don't get it. Just saying.
6 left. A quarter of them are sexless. Boom, that's over 50.
That's not that.
See, that's the other thing. So, okay. Does a man get to go into a court with the divorce and say, well, my wife is refusing to have sex with me. We haven't had sex in a year. I mean, what? You understand? Women weaponize sex. They weaponize everything. Women are emotional, right? They want this. And also women are delusional. Women are delusional. Do you ever see like some of these threads on TikTok? Like they want a man with abs. They want $1 million. Do you know how much $1 million is? Every woman on Instagram wants a multi-millionaire. While they do what? Nothing? What do they offer? I'm just curious. What do they offer? What do women actually bring to the table? I'm just curious. It gets to a point where it's ridiculous because the feminists have turned women into the most unrealistic beings on earth. Just like to sit here and say that men don't build everything. Oh, really? Really? Like I just, if I go home upstate, like I don't go over a bridge that a man built. I don't get on the West Side Highway that was built by a man. What women put all this together? What my car? What happens if men no longer exist? We've had this conversation many times. Everything stops. Go watch Wonder Woman, the new one. It's phenomenal. Okay? It shows you everything. An island full of women raising Wonder Woman. Men come, and guess what? Wonder Woman's the only one that survives because she has magical powers. Everybody else is dead. Okay? The men keep going. Everything else keeps going. But civilization, it stops if you eliminate men. It just does. It's a fact.
It's not true. A quarter are not.
There you go. Women on average, okay. And then on average, so at least half of the women gain 25 pounds.
I'm going to ask you another question. I'm going to ask you another question again. So we do survey.
Walrus. You are exactly. The walrus says, pay for women, pay for kids, and the gooberment gets their cut. Exactly. It's a system. It's a system, and it's about money. It's about money, and it's about control. It's about making money. It's about manipulating the women, okay, and controlling the men. That's what it is. And here we go again, right? Think about the feminist movement. Well, take women work. Men work. What happens now in the household? Well, now you need 2 cars. How's the woman getting to work? Guess what? It's all about profit. It's all about profit at the end of the day. It's disgusting. Where have we gone? And no one can read and write. And the kids are stupid. This is insanity.
Okay. And we ask people if they're happy. And I've cited multiple studies, okay, where hundreds of thousands of married men are asked if they are happy.
Okay.
And the majority, 80% to 90%, say yes. Can you cite a study that shows that the majority of men in marriage say they're not happy?
Well, you're saying in marriage. I'm including divorced.
Sure.
That's my point. But my original statement was...
Wait a minute. First of all, Venom. No, Wonder Woman doesn't lose, but all the women on the female island, they're all dead. Wonder Woman she doesn't exist unless we're aliens. I mean, do we have special powers? Get it? I mean, that's the point. Wonder Woman is an illusion. Wonder Woman is a made-up thing. The people on the island, which is an all-female island or whatever, some land of females, they're fighting and they're teaching Wonder Woman all this stuff, but she's the only one with the special powers. So when the men come over to take over, she escapes and they all end up dead. Hello.
And I'm going to interrupt because it's my turn. My original question was, for marriage, since the majority of marriages don't end in divorce, and if divorce is the only bad thing, then marriage is a good deal. But setting that aside, you cannot show that married men are unhappy. You have no data for that.
But I also added in, I said if a woman gains weight, that's a bad deal. If a woman cheats, that's a bad deal.
Do the men say it's not worth it? But do the men say it's not worth it to them? And they leave? You asked what I would classify as a successful marriage. Or I made the premise. The debate is not whether Pearl thinks marriage is a bad deal.
You said I could make the premise.
Yeah, but
so I said a good deal is classified as a woman that stays in shape, F's her husband, and stays married and is obedient. Okay. So if she's not having sex with her husband and she's gaining weight,
who should determine?
That's 60%. At least half of them are doing that.
Who should we look to determine the standard of whether marriage is a good? Let me finish. Whether marriage is a good deal. Married men or Pearl Davis?
I think you should look at men and what they're choosing, and they're not choosing marriage. Because if it was a good deal, it would be an easy sell. Good products get sold.
Good products get sold. That's a good one. That's a good one. Trent, she's coming for you. You're done. She toasted you. Right there. She toasted you. Okay? Hello? The red pill exists, and these spaces, the manosphere, they exist for a reason. They exist for a reason. Rollo Tomasi was able to write a book for a reason. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, I mean, do I agree with everything in it? No. But, here we go again, all right? No man is favored in court. I'm sorry, okay? No man is favored in court unless you have millions of dollars, okay? Because my name Daisy, I from China, I come over here, I just say, Fresh got me pregnant, okay? I bootleg his baby. No proof, no, I prostitute, I get bootleg, okay, no, I get money, okay? That's how we work. And now, I famous now. I famous here. Everybody love Daisy, okay? Okay, you talk Chinese? I talk Chinese. Chinese government love me, okay? This is what I'm saying. We literally have somebody like Daisy, who women are idolizing, all right? And we have these certain men and women running to save her because she said someone got her pregnant. Now, do I agree with everything Fresh did? Absolutely not. No. First of all, that whole entire thing was a debacle, okay? But what I'm saying is we are literally sitting here and Daisy using our government. She don't even know pay taxes here. We pay for her, okay? She use the government. She use our lawyer and to do what? To come in here and make a disaster. And only Fresh, because he had millions of dollars, can go off and do what he want. He only can get rid of Daisy because he had millions of dollars. Now, what happened when Daisy does that to UPS worker? Okay? Oh, no. UPS worker, oh, no. You give me money. Oh, 22 years later, you find out that now your baby, I bootleg your baby. I got your money, I bootleg your baby. You not get money back. You get money back? Oh, no. You see what I'm saying? Are you getting it? Mm-hmm. I digress.
Is exercise
gets good products.
Is exercise a good deal? Or is exercising a good deal?
Exercising is a good deal, but
most people sign up for it?
I wouldn't say those are the same thing. Because again, if women were benefiting men, like they were 100 years ago, if we look at 100 years ago, men signed up for marriage within 3 months. That's all it took.
All right, here's my next question. Here's my next question. If marriage is so bad,
first of all, I gotta say, Pearl, no, it doesn't take 3 years for okay? No, especially if you're talking about men that are getting married, that want to get married, right? 3 years, that means they don't want to marry you. You get what I'm saying? If it takes 3 years for you to get an engagement ring, then honey, he ain't interested. That's how that works. You get, especially high value men. Everyone's talking about high value men? No.
Including people who end in divorce.
I didn't say all marriage is bad.
Okay. If in general marriage,
I said out of 151 will fail.
If it's more likely, if it's greater than not, that marriage it will be bad, and if that's the case, why do 65% of divorced men get married again, even though they've already been through a marriage that's failed? If it's so bad, Pearl, why do the majority of men get married again?
Well, I would say, people don't always make logical decisions when it comes to love. But my question would go back to, why aren't men signing up in general?
Okay, so anybody who just disagrees with your standard of marriage, they're just being illogical.
No.
Oh, come on. Okay. Look, he has not agreed to one point she's made. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. He has not made the point once to say that marriage is a sacrament. This is a tradcon. This is a Christian, okay? He has not once made the point that, yes, there are examples. Yes, marriage, okay? The government weaponizes marriage. They use women in marriages, in divorces, to control men. Okay? He hasn't said it once. Like, come on. Are you sitting here? What are we in delusional land here? This is where you lost me. You lost me. Okay, you lost me. Give me a break. He is absolutely insane. You cannot sit here and say that you are a traditional conservative, a tradcon, and you're all about Christianity and all this stuff. But he hasn't said one thing about the marriage being a sacrament. Not one. Not one. Okay? Not one. Okay, U-Haul. Broads, better get in shape, U-Haul. Okay, come on. Oh, U-Haul with it. You like a Chinese number? I bootleg your baby, okay? And let me tell you, Venmo, Daisy better not bootleg your damn baby while she bootleg your baby, okay? That's how it go. And if Daisy bootleg your baby, government say Daisy good, Daisy right, okay? 20 years later, you find out, not your baby? Oh well, too bad. Okay? That's how that works. Andrew. All right. Oh, he's closed-minded. Yes, and he works for the government. Okay, because look, the churches, in my opinion, they're playing a role here. They're failing. They're losing grip. So they'll do anything to keep people in the church. And that's part of this, in my opinion. You're losing members, you're losing, your people aren't believing as much in you, right? So what do you do? You pander to women because women are more easily manipulated. Think about it. And they want to sell books. Don't forget the books. Gotta get those books out.
Okay.
I said a good deal. I clarified it in the beginning. I said good deal, doesn't gain weight, sleeps with her husband, stays married. I think that's the bare minimum.
Why can't this be a good deal for marriage if a married man says that he's happy?
Because I don't think that I think happiness studies, like how do they measure it? They
literally ask the person if they're happy.
Yeah, people lie.
Okay, so it's just a giant conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy.
Okay, so do you think most men who are married are unhappy?
I think most men that sign up for marriage out of the original, not stay married, that sign up for marriage, 51 are unhappy with that original deal. And we can agree at least 40% divorce, right?
Yeah, there's a 40%.
Okay. What percent of men rate themselves as happy?
You don't get to ask that the questions. Fine. I get to ask them.
Oh no, you don't get to ask that question. I get to ask this question, okay? Now, let me just tell you something, Trent. Who would do anything with a 40% failure rate? What kind of odds? Would you do something if they said, hey, let me sell you this air conditioner. There's 40% chance it's going to fail. You going to spend the $600 on it? 40% chance it's not going to work. Think about it. That's ridiculous.
And as I said before, just because a marriage ends in divorce, it doesn't mean that person now thinks that marriage is a bad deal, since the majority of men who get divorced choose to go back and get married anyways. I want to go back to some of the different...
Why don't the majority of men sign up for marriage?
You don't get to ask. I'm going to go back here.
Because if it was such a good deal, they'd sign up.
Yeah, well...
Good products get sold. You think Elon Musk is running out of his cars. Okay. When they first came out anyways. I don't know about now, but...
All right. right.
I heard that truck was bad.
All right. Let's see here, because you've brought up
80% of women
All right,
get
you say-
HPV. That's crazy.
okay. What percent of men get HPV?
Similar, but they're only the sexually active ones, and there's a higher percent of sexually active women.
Yeah,
than men.
I guess I'll start asking these questions. Do men have a lot of STDs?
A smaller, not at the. They're at a lower rate than women.
How do you know that?
You can Google it. CDC.
Okay, but still, do the majority of men have STDs?
When is he going to say something about the government controlling men in marriages? When is he going to actually address that? When? What is all this not? Wait, this, that. It's obvious nobody wants to be with somebody with an STD. What are we talking about? This is ridiculous. Get to the point. Is the government against men with marriage? Is marriage a bad deal? Is a government marriage a bad deal for men? Yes. Done. Come on. This is ridiculous.
Who are unmarried, sexually active?
Well, if they're sexually active, but the minority, this is the thing. You guys don't know what's going on because you guys have been out of the game so long. The number one way that people are meeting is dating apps. Women swipe right 5, 10, up to 20% of the time. What does that mean?
Okay.
More,
a
minority of men can even sleep around.
Drew, you're funny. Now we trust the CDC.
You guys are saying men stop sleeping around. A minority of men even get the choice to do that.
Do men cheat?
Yeah.
Okay. So if a man cheats and he leaves his wife to be with another woman, is it fair that he should have to compensate her by paying for things like child support now that he's abandoned her?
Is he going to be an active father?
If a man,
it's one thing. So
I'm
I'm
going to ask the
asking,
question
okay.
again. If a man
I'm clarifying.
if a man is married to a woman, they have 3 kids, and he says, "Wow, I'd like to be married to this other lady instead that I had an affair
Okay.
with," and he abandons his wife and children, and his wife has been raising these kids, and now they're on their own.
It's always extremes with him. Okay. Nobody wants cheating. Okay. I mean, okay, fine. Different podcasts. Fine. I get it. I'm not saying, oh, it's okay for men to cheat. They can do anything. No. But where is the tradcon? Where's the real traditional conservative? When is it going to come out of him? When is he going to say that government, should not be in marriage, right? And that marriage is a sacrament and it's a holy sacrament between 2 people that make a commitment to each other. Does that mean cheating? No, it's always like extremes. It's excuse after excuse after excuse.
Isn't it just that he should compensate them for putting them in that position by paying child support?
How many kids? How old?
Let's say 3 kids, 3, 6, and 9.
3, 6, and 9. And he completely abandoned them, not even...
So he tells the wife, "You can have full custody of the kids. I want to go and get remarried." Shouldn't he have to support them since he was an awful person and abandoned them and put them in this position?
You know what? Sorry. No, I don't believe in child support. I don't believe in alimony. I think it's equal. Women have fought. We have fought for equality.
Okay.
Wait, we have fought for equality. We got it. So now you get a job like everyone else. It's a sad situation, but overwhelmingly, men aren't the ones doing that. Women, there are far more deadbeat moms than deadbeat dads.
Do you think he's...
Okay, well, I have to say with her, I don't totally agree on that. Okay, men should not be abandoning their children and not taking care of their children. Let's not be ridiculous, Pearl. Okay, come on. Now you need some common sense too, okay? It can't be extremes. It can't be like, oh, you gained 2 pounds and now the man can get a divorce. Come on, we have to have common sense here. We have to have common sense. Of course, it's not right for a man to abandon his family, all right? But it's also not right for a woman, in the case of a divorce, to destroy a man's life, weaponize the children because she didn't like something he said. Like, whatever. Get what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
You simp for men?
No.
So you don't call it simping for men and saying that that if a woman does something bad, she should have to pay consequences for it. But if a man, I'm going to finish.
Okay.
If a man abandons his family because he wants to screw some other...
He's got some nerve talking about, is she simping for man? He's the biggest simp I've ever seen in my life. I mean, women can do no wrong, okay? Talk about simp for your woman. I mean, geez, he's nuts. Talking about simping. Come on. When he's the biggest simp of all time.
Lady and puts them into poverty. You're saying...
I mean, nobody beats Wes Watson, but...
he shouldn't have to spend a dime on that.
Yeah,
Why?
equality, baby, because women abandon their families all the time and they're not punished, they're rewarded. So I say equal rights, equal lefts. You guys fought for equality, here it is.
Then isn't the answer, shouldn't the answer be both, that instead of saying both men and women should be allowed to be awful people, shouldn't we say men and women should both be held to higher standards?
I would say, I don't, it depends what you mean by higher standards, but what I would say is I don't think we should have child support. I don't think we should have alimony. I think it's wrong.
So even if a man he just leaves, his wife has been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, 3 kids. She has been out of the workplace, is going to have a difficult time finding a job. And I know personally women that this has happened to, and he leaves and goes has sex with someone else. We're not talking about other women being bad. You're saying in that case, the man shouldn't be compelled to provide for the family he abandoned.
Well, I would say for the same case that if women cheat and leave for another husband, they shouldn't have alimony or child support either. I'm saying in both cases, we should not.
See, this entire conversation is all about the government. Think about it. Would there be incentive if marriage was a holy thing? People would be working towards their marriage being successful. That's the difference. You see, that's the difference. Why are you having these conversations? Like, what, you understand what I'm saying? It's not sacred. That's the problem.
We should not have alimony.
Let me
and
ask you another
child
question.
support.
Let's say you have. Let me ask you this.
I don't believe in paying people to make wrong decisions.
Okay.
I don't believe in that.
All right. So if a woman, let's say you have a stay-at-home dad, successful woman, has been out, she's boss girl.
Can she be a lawyer?
Sure. She's the boss girl lawyer, turns into the She-Hulk when she needs to, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And she's making a lot of money, and then she leaves her husband and kids, says, "Hey, Frank, you can have the kids. I'm going to run off with this other lawyer at the office." And now he and the kids are in poverty. Do you think that she should have to pay child support to them?
Nope. I think he should get a job.
Okay.
And so should she.
So you don't believe, do you believe in marriage at all?
I believe, what kind of marriage? I don't believe in marriage as it is today.
What?
If we tomorrow got rid of child support, got rid of alimony, got rid of all these incentives for bad decisions, fine. Then I would have no problem. But my issue is, one, the quality of women is lower than ever before.
Pearl,
the risk is higher, and women are paid to
Pearl,
leave.
what is marriage?
She just slayed him. She literally just killed him. He's dead. He's dead. Stick a fork in him, he's dead. Okay? That's exactly the point right there. What is marriage exactly? Everything she said right here is totally true. I agree with that. And also, women of today, it's like the quality of women, we have no respect. How did this be? Like, you can't act like a tramp, act like a hoe, be on OnlyFans, have a 3,000 count and all this crap, and then expect a Christian conservative man to come marry you. And like, come on. You have to be responsible for your own actions as well. Nobody wants to say that, though, to these women. At least these tradcons don't.
One person for a lifetime, and the woman submits to her husband and is an obedient for a lifetime.
Okay.
But I'm not, and see, I guess my head goes in a couple directions, because the other thing is, today it's nothing. Okay. Today, you said the average marriage is longer than 7 years. Let's say it's 12 years.
The median length is 21 years.
The average, let's.
Why is it not a lifetime? Why is that? Why is there an average, a number for a marriage? That's ridiculous. Marriage is supposed to be for life. If you make that commitment, you should be committed. See? But it's easy because the government makes it easy for women to say, I'm done. It's true.
Let's say 21. That's still not a lifetime. And a quarter of divorces are gray divorces. So it happens when people are in their 50s and 60s. So that's the other thing about these stats. It doesn't predict who in the future gets divorced. It says today. So it doesn't include people that are separated. I know couples in their 50s and 60s. They've been separated for years. They're still counted as married. So,
very good point there. Very good point there. What about the people that are separated? Are they happy? Well, if they're separated, clearly not, right?
My issue again is marriage as it is today, and I just think you would never sign a contract that pays somebody to leave. I think it's super logical. If someone's paid to do the wrong thing, they're going to do it. And what are women doing?
Okay.
They're leaving. I'm so
marriage,
shocked.
If marriage is a lifelong union, and let's say a woman does what you say she should do, right? Let's
I don't say women should do anything.
Well, you say women should be obedient to their husbands, right?
If the woman gets married, but
if
some
a woman
women,
gets married,
oh
should
God,
she?
Look, women, men, there's a responsibility to marriage. It's called a commitment, especially if you're raising children, regardless if you are or not. That's why, what are we talking about here? Okay, there are too many people today that get married, have children, and take no responsibility. No responsibility in the marriage, no responsibility for the kids. And that's, look what happens. You're literally destroying lives. Like, you can't just, not be a parent, not be a wife, not be a husband. And marriage takes work. Hello, it takes work. It takes effort. Okay? When is he going to say that?
Should she stay home and raise the kids, Pearl? If she...
Well, it depends. And I can't give you a straight answer. Like, I can't give you a straight answer. It depends. What does he want?
Let's say he wants her to stay home and raise kids.
Fine. Then yeah, sure.
And you think that that's a reasonable thing. So
the majority of women aren't, though. That's not the majority. And that's the thing that,
let me finish. So if a woman does that, then she takes a significant amount of risk, right? Mm-hmm. She makes herself, does she take risk?
The walrus, like, make me a sandwich. First of all, anytime Pearl takes that drink, I can't. Thank you. ARK says, great show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, like our parents. Drew Boo, still married, still arguing, can't live without each other. I never side with either of them, because if my mother says, I'm so upset with your father, I'll be like, Dad, I'm really mad at you. And they're like, what do you mean? We're out having dinner. I'm like, Mom, you said you were mad. You get it? That's called love. It's called work. It's like, I am so grateful for my family. I don't have one friend that their parents are divorced. So I don't really even understand that. I can't even imagine what it's like for children to go through their parents having a divorce. It's traumatizing. Are the parents going to take responsibility for that? What does the government have to do with that? Then they use the children. The government weaponizes everything and anything that they can to control us. That's what this is about.
And choosing to become financially dependent on one person.
Yes, she does, but women aren't choosing that. That's a funny thing. Women are having 1 to 2 children. They're in public school. So let's not act like these women are home housewifing it up. Okay. These kids are in public school for 8 hours a day.
You're right. Men and women. They aren't choosing marriage. Both of them aren't.
True. But didn't you say men are in control of marriage? That's what you said earlier.
Yeah. So really, it's more they're not choosing to do it. Right.
Exactly. And women aren't choosing because women are not wives today.
Okay.
Women are not wives. I have to say that because, what's the role of a wife? Well, if you have children, you should be raising your children. The government should not be. You should not have 13 nannies and, public school. Like, what? So what is your job? Like, if you see your children basically only a couple hours more than your husband, then what do you do? I don't understand it. You got maids, you got this, you got that. So what is your job? What do you actually do? What is your job as a wife? Because as a husband, you have to provide. You got to make more money, get a bigger house, another bigger house, another bigger house, and demand. You see, vacation. Think about it. The kids want this, the kids want that. You need dance classes, you need sports, you got that. How come the men have all the responsibility and the women have none? You don't even have to raise your own kids. I'm sorry, I don't agree with it. Done. Just like a tradcon. It doesn't exist. You can't be a tradcon, a female that says I'm a tradcon, married, but you're on a television show every day and you have kids at home. Well, who's raising your children? Please explain it to me. Who's raising your kids? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me look at the chat real quick. The walrus. Okay, marriage. Okay. When marriage was truly religious, they lasted longer. Before the government got into the business of marriage. Yes, exactly, Drew. Preach, walrus. The government got involved. That's why marriage, it doesn't mean anything anymore. How many people are like, oh, yeah, I'm divorced? It's not a big deal. That's ridiculous.
Oh. Man up and marry these whores.
You got 1 minute left.
Okay. Do you think that men are marriageable who've looked at pornography?
Yeah.
How about men who have helped like run the camera at OnlyFans?
What percent of men do that, Trent?
No, I'm asking you the
This
question.
is like, come on.
I'm asking you a question.
Who have run the camera? Personally, not for me. Like run the camera at OnlyFans.
All right, we only
me.
have a few seconds left, so I'm just going to take it back to the main thing, the final main question.
Before he goes into the main question, Venom KPP, Venom double P, I'm going to say, okay? Great question. What's the biggest responsibility a wife has nowadays? Cooking Thanksgiving dinner? Yeah, exactly. Okay, like TradCon Millennial Millie. Like, I cooked Thanksgiving dinner. I'm not a feminist. I only ran around saving the world, making some faux documentary. I mean, you get it? How come she can go do whatever she wants? The man has to bring in the money. He's got to have a job. He's got to take care of the kids. He's got to cook Thanksgiving dinner now too. It's like, okay, you're a husband. You work all day and you got to come home and do the dishes too. Like, hello? I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
Okay. Do just a yes or no. Do the majority, 80% of men who are married say they are happy?
Okay, you know what? Drew Boo says, going to the gym, shopping, and Botox. Exactly. Okay. And now they don't even want to go to the gym or do any of that. They want to just stay home and online shop and get the Botox, the doctors go to a Botox party. It's ridiculous.
Yes or no?
They say it, but we don't know if they're telling the truth.
Okay, Pearly thinks. Okay, now, my opinion, she destroyed him. Now, that's all I've got to say about that, all right? I don't believe that the government belongs in marriage. And now I'm going to give you an example of why. This is literally, now some of you may have seen this before. This is Ben Hart, okay? Ben Hart is the prime example of what the government does to men via divorces and marriage, and how women use marriage and the government to control men. This is a good one. You ready? Think this is the craziest story I've ever seen. All right, let's get into Ben.
Okay, get ready for a pretty amazing story that includes this judge, Judge Leslie Alden, putting me in jail for contempt of court as part of my divorce case. And she gave me a 1-year sentence. Now, the instant I stepped into the courtroom and saw her, I knew I was dead in the water.
A 1-year sentence? This is a divorce case. What are you? A 1-year sentence? I digress.
So we'll get back to this. Okay, time to get a glass of wine or your favorite beverage. Sit back, relax, get ready for an amazing story. As some of you know who have been following this, my 24-year-old daughter, Maddie, has come out with another video telling the world that I abandoned the family. As I've said, I don't really blame my daughter for these very inaccurate videos that she's been putting out. I put the blame on her mom, my ex-wife, Betsy. Now let me recap what's happened so far for those of you who have missed it. Then we'll delve deeper into some of the crazier stuff that I've skipped over. Okay, here's a quick recap. Okay, I wake up at 6 a.m. to do some work. I get my coffee, I sit down, I open my computer, and what am I greeted with? Well, hundreds of comments calling...
Now, is that a feminist or is that a feminist? I'm going to go with that's a feminist. Now, you know I'm joking. No, she is a feminist, and the mother raised her, okay? To hate her father. Now, this is what happens when you live with mom and your parents are divorced. Anything mom says goes. She believes everything her mother says, okay? This is the craziest story ever.
Me a deadbeat dad, a child abandoner, and all manner of other insults. So I think, what's this all about? Well, after a few minutes of investigation, I discover that my daughter, Maddie, has made a video about me. She's a screenwriter in Hollywood. She's also a big social media influencer. Some of her videos get millions of views. And this video has 1 million likes, 20,000 comments, 40,000 bookmarks, 30,000 reposts. So I thought I'd better watch this video. And frankly, I was pretty chagrined by what I heard, to say the least.
My dad abandoned my family when I was 5 years old. That is
Are you getting where this is going? This is insane. This is absolutely insane. So this man is sitting here and he is watching YouTube. He's watching his daughter on YouTube. On YouTube. This is where we've gotten. Now, can you imagine back in the that's the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay? For her to actually just be talking about her father like that on YouTube because her mother said X, Y, and Z. This is nuts. This is like a war, not a war, but this girl's father, Ben, has to actually make a series of YouTube videos combating what the mother has been telling her all these years. Is that ridiculous or is that ridiculous? It's nuts.
Is a wife and 4 kids. He abandoned us and then pursued amateur breakdancing. Became like the oldest actively competing breakdancer in the world. Here, I'll show you.
To see, take a look at this 60-year-old breakdancer. Yes, 60 years old. Amazing. That's Ben Hart. He's competing at a breakdancing competition.
Now look at her though. She's actually kind of proud. That's the crazy thing. Like, isn't that kind of cool? Like your father, like, come on. He's on national television breakdancing. Like, she's actually proud of him. But she's been taught and trained by the mother to hate him by all means. Okay? Crazy.
Dancing competition in Philadelphia.
This guy wouldn't pay my medical bills.
That is not true. Almost everyone I knew
Now, where do you think she got that from? Okay. Wouldn't pay her medical bills. Wait till you see where this goes.
had seen this video and was asking me about it. Now, I told Maddie I liked 98% of her video, but that there were some significant inaccuracies in there, like about me not paying medical bills. That's just not true. And the implication was that I was some kind of deadbeat dad. I paid her mom millions of dollars in
Millions of dollars. I'm bringing it back. I paid her mom millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Now, could it be that the mother was getting millions of dollars and spending it on other things? Or just saying that he didn't pay it? How do you pay millions of dollars? What costs this kind of money? This is nuts.
Dad. I paid her mom millions of dollars in alimony, child support, put hundreds of thousands of dollars into the kids' college funds, paid for their health insurance, of course, and out-of-pocket medical costs, as I should have. The result was that the kids were able to live in a wealthy suburb of Chicago, attend top colleges, and pursue very good careers. Anyways, I asked Maddie to take down her video and at least correct the damaging inaccuracies. It just wasn't true that I wasn't covering medical costs. I told her almost everyone I know had seen it, including clients.
Clients. So she's doing, just think about this. This is what the mother's raised, okay? He has clients that are looking at this. Clients. Like, what are you nuts? Like you, anything goes. Anything goes. No respect. Not even have a conversation with your father about it prior to doing this. Oh no, just go and do it without ever talking to him about it. How about that? Crazy.
It had the potential to hurt my business, hurt me professionally. And some key parts of her video just aren't true. And I certainly don't think she meant any harm by her first video. But she declined to take down her video because she said her video had gone viral. It was everywhere.
It had gone viral. She didn't want to take it down because it went viral. Is this crazy or what?
So she didn't want to take it down. So I came back a day or so later and told her that I had posted a response video on X. I told her the video response is very mild and very positive. It just corrects a couple of inaccuracies. And at that point, my video on X only had a few hundred views. She watched my video and seemed to like it, thought it was funny. So then I suggested, since you aren't going to take down your video and correct it, I would at least like you to post my response video on your feed. But she declined. So I really had no choice but to put up my response video to set the record straight, even if it only gets 200 views, which is about what I expected. Well, then my response video really started to blow up. It hit 1 million views in about 12 hours. Then 5 million views, 10 million views, 20 million views, and on up from there. Maddie's mom started to freak out, sent me long text messages telling me to take my video down. I'm like, but Maddie's video is still up and has 7 million views, and that
7 million views. 7 million views. This man has a business he's running. 7 million views she got.
just on TikTok. Plus, Maddie has posted a much more negative second video, full of inaccuracies. Now, I don't blame Maddie at all for any of this. She's just repeating the brainwashing and propaganda that she's been hearing from her mom for the last 19 years. Okay, so anyways, let's take a look at Maddie's follow-up video.
I know my dad posted like a 10-minute video or whatever being like, you know, my daughter's lying. We have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with all my kids. That's just objectively not true. Like, guys, we're all freaking out about this in my family group chat right now. We're being like, he's so unhinged and delusional. We don't know if he actually believes.
Oh my God, like, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, like, my father is so unhinged and delusional. Like, we are literally freaking out about this on our group family chat right now. And this is how we handle family issues. We go on YouTube and we make videos about our father instead of having an actual family conversation. Like, God forbid, like, why is he not in the family group chat? Ever think of that? Like, why is he not in the family group chat? Nuts.
Believes his own narrative or if he's lying on purpose, but he's just like a weird guy. Yeah, he said he lived down the street from us. That's not true. Or like if he did, it was only for a few months maybe, but I don't want to get into this. Like, again, like my video was basically like sanitizing the situation and like poking fun at the lightest parts of that childhood trauma. But obviously in real life, it was a lot more like complicated and traumatic, and it was really hard. He left us, immediately married another woman. We didn't hear from him for years. And then he would visit every few months and we'd go out to dinner, but like,
now, how do you know that was true? How do you know that he wasn't trying to reach out to the kids and deal with the kids? And the mother was like, no, you're not going to see him. Weaponizing. Because who has all the control? Whoever has custody. That's who. Whoever has custody, which was clearly the wife.
Hand in raising us at all. Gave us some money growing up. I honestly don't know the nitty gritty of the financial situation. I really, really don't. Bottom line is this guy was a completely absent father.
Now, honestly, I thought I had overcome all this brainwashing of the kids by my ex-wife. I thought I had a great relationship with my daughters.
Is that crazy or what? He's thinking he has a great relationship with the daughters. And she's over here making YouTube videos about what an awful deadbeat dad he was. Not knowing that he even gave millions of dollars. Like, you didn't pay for the medical bills, but meanwhile, millions of dollars went to the mother. Come on.
Especially since they became adults. Everything was going fine, I thought. Here we were last Christmas, 90 days ago. We all had a great time. I even thought I was getting along fine with my ex-wife, Betsy. Just last year, I swung by her house to pick up the kids for dinner. One of the kids was late, was out with a friend or something, so Betsy invited me to come into the house for a glass of wine.
She invited him to come in for a glass of wine. This gets good. More manipulation? Come on.
3 of the kids were there, and we had a perfectly fine conversation. Perfectly pleasant. Then the kids and I went out for dinner, and we all had a great time as usual. I thought the fact that Betsy had invited me into her house for a glass of wine was good progress. I was encouraged. But now this saga has taken a more negative turn, and all the indicators point to my ex-wife, Betsy, as the manipulator, as the well poisoner. In every video that Maddie puts out, she says I abandoned the family. And none of my daughters are talking to me right now. Only my son Peter is talking to me. But I'm just going to talk here about what happened after the separation in 2004.
This is where it gets good.
And the divorce in 2005. Because I made every mistake possible. I basically did not protect myself legally at all. First off, I gave Betsy 97% of the family assets. And
Whoa! 97% of the family assets went to the wife. Is that fair? We'll see.
Left myself with 3%, which actually left me
Now, how is this man supposed to survive like that? Can you explain it to me?
with 0, because the 3% I had was quickly consumed by the lawyers. I did this because I knew I had a business, and I could build back up. And of course, I wanted the kids to feel secure, to let them know that they would have nothing to worry about financially. And money is just not something I've ever been very concerned about. I knew I could always make money. At any rate, after I posted my first video in response to Maddie's video, Betsy wrote me a long text message full of invective, asking
A text message. Like, this is where we're at. You're writing a text message. Can we not communicate? Like, in a conversation? How about face to face? How about at least on FaceTime? I mean, come on.
why I was using exaggerated numbers in terms of what I paid for alimony, child support, college costs, and the other costs over the years. Then I had this text conversation with my oldest daughter, Tori. I said, "Hey, Tori, give me a call when you get a chance." Tori answered, quote, "Hi, Dad, I love you, but not right now. It's time for me to cut off communication. The video you posted was full of lies and just dragging Mom and Maddie 20 years after the fact, and you're just letting that happen. I'm distancing myself for the time being."
Now think about this for a second. Think about this for a second. You're in a situation like this, right? The family, okay, you're removed. The father, him, Ben, he's removed. How do you, so you're fighting a battle here. You're trying to like defend yourself and explain things, but you're not there. How does that work? Not too well, right?
End quote. I answered, quote, "My video was not full of lies. Maddie posted an attack on me that my client saw. I had no choice but to answer. I asked Maddie to take her video down. She refused."
Now he's got clients. He's running a business. Okay. They want all this money. They want all of this stuff, X, Y, and Z, but you're destroying his business. How does that work? How does that work in your favor? Okay. This daughter of his, Maddie, is literally, I mean, the worst. Bitter. Talk about unappreciative. Unappreciative. Who paid for your college? You? No. Your dad. No appreciation whatsoever. The amount of disrespect is absolutely insane. Insane. To go on YouTube and make a video of your own father, like instead of, who would do that? This is bizarre. This isn't like someone she's never met. It's not like, oh, I've never met my father. I'm from an orphanage. Like, what are you talking about? This is crazy.
Because it was going viral. I was trending on TikTok. I asked her to post my video on her feed, which is an accurate video. She liked my video, thought it was funny, but declined.
She liked his video, which was his rebuttal, and declined to post it on her feed. Like, this is how insane. Okay, this is women think they can do anything. Like, this is what I mean. He doesn't get to say anything. Get it? She's got, like, her video went viral, and she's like, oh, well, okay, so I guess I might have been wrong on some points, but I'm not taking it down because it's a viral video. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that?
My feed, because everyone had seen Maddie's video. So I had to answer. And the problem is my kids have no clue what the real story is. Now,
and why is that? Why does his kids have no clue what the real story is? Well, it's pretty easy to figure out because the wife wouldn't allow them to see him. Watch.
Perhaps the so-called lie that Tori is referring to and that Betsy is referring to is the approximately $2 million lump sum that Betsy received at the end of the marriage, at the start of the divorce, and the $5 million total that she and the kids received in the ensuing years until each of the kids reached age 22. Now, these were estimates off the top of my head from memory.
Are you listening to the amount of money? The amount of money? I just cannot imagine. This is somebody that obviously has money, right? Or had it until the wife, until it all went to the courts, the lawyers' fees, getting out of jail, and so on and so forth. The college, the this, and that. How is a man supposed to survive under these circumstances? This is nuts.
So I went back and reviewed the numbers, and it turns out that the real numbers are that I agreed to pay Betsy $1.8 million.
$1.8 million. What delusional land are we in here? $1.8 million. $1.8 million. But she somehow couldn't afford hospital bills and doctors, like medical bills, with $1.8 million. Come on.
At the conclusion of the marriage, so $1.8 million at the start. However, I was $100,000 short of what I agreed to. More on that in a moment. And Betsy and the kids received a total of $4 million, a little bit more than.
My God, this is insanity. Are you guys looking at this? $4 million. Look at the numbers here. Look at the numbers here. Total college costs paid by Ben, $618,000 and $308. This is absolutely insane. So men are just supposed to work till they're dead? This is crazy. This is nuts.
$4 million, which includes the aforementioned $1.8 million and $618,000 for the kids' college funds and college costs. Below, I link to a PDF of the accounting. This accounting comes directly from a 2016 court case, one of many court battles.
So this is all legal. This is from a court case. So, clearly he's not making this up. You get it? His daughter didn't see this, though, right?
I was in with Betsy. But here's the issue. Apparently, they really do think that I abandoned the family. And this is where the story...
Hello to Siege D in the chat. Yes, Drew Boo is guarding the chat. You got it. He does got it. He does. Good job, Drew. Good job, Andy. Good job, everybody.
It really gets insane. Okay, so Betsy and I got separated in 2004, then divorced in 2005. Also, we were living in Virginia at that time, just outside of Washington, D.C. As part of the divorce agreement, I agreed to allow Betsy and the kids to move to the Chicago area. My plan was to follow Betsy and the kids there.
Okay, so this woman decides that she wants to move to Chicago from the Washington, D.C., and he's got to follow them. Think about what I'm saying. He's following them. I mean, I don't understand.
This made quite a bit of sense because Betsy's family...
How can anyone say that marriage is not a bad deal for men when you're in a government marriage? This is crazy. Basically, the government is controlling every move you make. If the wife says, I want to move to, across the country, then you have to move across the country. You have absolutely no say. The man in a divorce, the husband, has no say. If there's children involved, children are used. They're weapons.
Family were there. And that's where Betsy is from. And I can work from anywhere. I'm a writer and a creative type. I create advertisements for a living. I can do that anywhere. So my plan was just to follow the kids from Virginia to Illinois.
Now, what happens to the husband or ex-husband that doesn't have a job that can go anywhere? What happens when you are a plumber in your town and your ex-wife says, well, guess what? I'm moving back home where my parents are, which is halfway across the country, and too bad. You're not going to see the kids unless you get more money and figure out how to fly out to California, and we are in Connecticut. Think about this. Are you getting what I'm saying here? How is this fair? How?
But I also agreed to just give Betsy essentially all the marital assets. I left the marriage with $0. Well, 3%. That became zero after paying all the lawyers. Now, of course, I agreed to all of this. And I told you, I made literally every mistake in a divorce that a guy can possibly make. I thought giving Betsy $1.8 million at the get-go and leaving myself with nothing would buy peace. Wow.
Wow. $1.8 million at the get-go and leaving himself with nothing would buy peace. Oh, no. It rarely works that way. Rarely.
Was I wrong? And everyone told me I was absolutely insane to agree to this. What I did not count on was Betsy moving from Virginia to Illinois with the kids almost immediately. I couldn't move to Illinois immediately. She sold our house instantly, packed up the kids.
We Ho 60 says you have crazy eyes. It's okay, Drew. They can have an opinion. They can say, you just can't be totally off the wall. Nuts. I'm a little crazy. All right. So my eyes are crazy, a little crazy. I'll agree.
I left Virginia for Illinois, basically instantly. Yikes. I also did not predict that Betsy would issue subpoenas to all my clients to find out if I might be hiding money and assets from her. In other words, even though I agreed to give her everything, she didn't believe it. She thought there was more money to be found.
Are you getting this? He agreed to give her everything and she didn't believe it. There's got to be more somewhere. I mean, this is the delusion of women. $1.8 million. Again, how is an average male school teacher or mechanic or somebody working at the local grocery store supposed to deal with this? This is insane. This is insane.
Money I was stashing away somewhere, or some hidden sources of income.
Actually, usually it's women that stash the money. Right? Oh, don't tell your dad we went shopping. Shh, wait, keep this. All right, now I'm going to get in trouble. Hopefully my father's asleep.
That she didn't know about. So she subpoenaed all of my clients. Her lawyers wanted to depose my clients. This caused me to lose most of my business. No client wants to be involved in a divorce legal proceeding or get deposed. So my clients ran for the tall grass fast. And by the way, she's doing this again. In the wake of this Maddie video flap, she's been phoning my clients again.
Ahmed, you know something? Welcome, first of all, welcome. And you make a really good point. Ahmed, I'm not sure if it's male or female, says, why don't millionaires fund the change to the marriage laws, okay? The anti-male marriage laws. This is what I'm saying about the tradcons. Okay, you're a bunch of male people on all these places, but you don't do anything about the weaponization of like marriage against men. Like, come on. You can sit here talking and talking and talking. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it?
In hopes of torpedoing my current business, just like she was able to do in 2004 and 2005. And of course, I was broke at that point. I had just let Betsy have all of the marital assets. Well, 97%. Now remember that $1.8 million that she was due at the conclusion of the marriage in 2005? Well, I was $100,000 short. I'd agreed to give her an additional $100,000 on top of all of our marital assets. Well, I wasn't able to pay it because remember, she had destroyed my business with all of her subpoenas.
So she destroys the business, has him spending all this money on this. He offers to give her basically everything and over $100,000. Are you getting this? The guy can't win. How selfish can a woman be?
So she and her attorneys filed what is called a show cause petition with the court. A show cause petition. What is a show cause petition? Well, this means I must prove that I am not in contempt of court. And if I am in contempt of court, meaning if I don't pay the $100,000, I could go to jail for contempt of court.
Going to jail for contempt of court. Now, let's not forget one of the most important facts here. The wife left him thinking that there was more money hidden somewhere. How much money do you need? She says there's more money. Okay, because you know what? It's just like AOC. Go find the money. Oh, they'll find the money. You can't get blood out of stone. It doesn't work that way.
So I walked into court for this show cause hearing. I had no legal representation at that point because I was out of money and couldn't pay lawyers anymore.
Glenn, 100%. Glenn Lawrence, because no one really wants to change things. That's right. That's the conversation Glenn and I had on the phone the other day. No one wants to change anything. It's too profitable. It keeps things, get it? They don't really want to do anything for the good. It's all selfishness. It's all about, Trent wants to sell books. I want my, he wants more followers. Women are you get the women audience. It's nuts. It's nuts. Nobody wants to come together. It's all division. It's crazy.
Because Betsy had torpedoed my business with her subpoenas to all of my clients, this judge was a woman by the name of Judge Leslie Alden.
No, she looks like a problem. Okay, I would not want. Now she's retired, so would you want to pass this woman? I mean, does that look like a woman to be messing with? If I was in court with her, I'd be like, yes, Judge. I plead the. I mean, who wants to go to court and have to deal with her? Okay, I mean, she's got a man's haircut, first of all. That says it all. She's trying to wear the pants. She is judging, and she is going to judge you until the judgment day is over, which will never come.
That she looked at me, that I was dead in the water. She had my tax returns and bank statements.
Tax returns and bank statements. Okay, this is how the government just will drain you, just pull you, drown you, all right? And who's getting paid? Oh, a judge. Oh, she's getting a salary though, right? What about the lawyers? Okay, this is crazy. Wouldn't it be smarter for women to make some kind of if you decided that it's not going to work out, to make a deal with your husband instead of involving all of these people and having this war, destroying your children, destroying your relationship with your husband, coming to an adult agreement saying, okay, this isn't working. Like, we've done everything. We've tried everything. Can we just figure this out? No, let's pay the money that these women are so greedy that they want so bad. They want money, 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 money. let's give it all to the lawyers. Let's give it all to the courts. Okay? Court report. Let's just spend it on everything else but us, right?
Was making quite a bit of money. But that was before my clients went away due to all of Betsy's subpoenas that were arriving at their offices from Betsy's legal team.
Can you imagine? His ex-wife's lawyers were sending subpoenas to his clients. But you want him to spend more money. You want him to give you more money, but you are subpoenaing his clients. Like, so you think those clients are going to remain clients? What an idiot. How could you be this stupid? This is just stupidity.
Judge Alden bellowed at me. When will you pay Mrs. Hart the $100,000 you owe her, Mr. Hart? She said from the bench. She sounded exactly like Judge Judy on TV. I
Judge Judy.
answered. As soon as I can, Your Honor. I need to build my business back up. Judge Alden asked me again. When will you pay Mrs. Hart the $100,000 you owe her, Mr. Hart? I answered. Well, as soon as I can, Your Honor. I need to build my business back up. She asked me one more time. Mr. Hart, when will you pay Mrs. Hart the $100,000 you owe her? I answered. I don't know what else to say except I'll pay her the money as soon as I can. Her next words were, Bailiff, remand Mr. Hart to the custody of the sheriff. Now, I didn't care much about money when I let Betsy have all her stuff, but I sure could have used $100,000 right then. Lesson. It's easy to sing Kumbaya, give peace a chance, and to say you don't care about money until you actually need money to stay out of jail.
Jail. We're talking jail. This is a divorce. Jail? Did he physically abuse her? Did he do something that was, that deserved jail? We're talking about money. And she already got how many million? Just under $2 million? This is crazy.
The next thing you know, I was sitting in a large holding cell in the Fairfax County, Virginia jail, with a large crowd of inmates waiting to be processed, to include MS-13 gang members and members of the notorious R Street gang in Washington, D.C. I was still dressed in my business suit when I entered the holding cell. This large holding cell contained about 40 other inmates. The jail door clanked behind me. An enormous 300-pound black guy called Big Daddy said to me, Hey, what are you in here for with that nice suit, red tie, and shiny shoes? Some kind of computer fraud, bank fraud or something? I said, Nah, I came up short on money I owe to my ex-wife. And I launched off into my story about what had just happened in court. Big Daddy, the 300-pound guy, called the other inmates over to hear the story. Big Daddy was clearly the dominant figure in the group. His voice was loud and booming. Plus, he was huge.
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine he's in a jail cell with real hardcore criminals over not paying a portion of money? He already gave $1.8 or $9 million and he's $100,000 short because the woman is destroying his business. So where is the money coming from? And you're in a jail cell with hardened criminals. And they're like, they can't even believe he's in there. This is nuts.
So they all gathered round. Some of them looked like they were from the movie Menace to Society. Hey guys, come over here and listen to this, Big Daddy said. This story is great. I was sitting on a
Big Daddy. True.
cement bench next to Big Daddy. We were all there for a few hours because life in jail is not a fast-moving process. And they seemed to like me. They were all laughing, including the guy with the Nazi swastika tattoo on his face. They couldn't believe I agreed to pay my ex $1.8 million, plus $12,000 per month, and that I was still $100,000 short. Well, actually, I was more than $100,000 short. Judge Leslie Alden had also awarded Betsy attorney's fees, plus interest. So the bill I owed her at this point was $148,000. The guy who looked like he was out of Menace to Society, he says, What the F did you give her all that money for? And leave yourself with nothing. Then after a few hours in there, one of the guards calls out my name. And
I mean, the inmates are literally telling him, like, you fool. Like, this is insane. This is, I don't understand how tradcons, how any of these conservative men are not addressing this issue. Okay, if you're a Christian conservative and you believe in marriage, then you should believe in the sacrament of marriage, not the weaponized version the government gives to us. Okay, that literally puts people in jail for being $100,000 short when they've paid $1.8 or $9 million already. That's insanity.
Holding cell area with the guards. A guard put me in handcuffs and led me to the processing area. I was seated and handcuffed to a metal chair next to an officer who was inputting data into a computer.
Handcuffed. This is a divorce. This is not a domestic violence case. This is none of that. This is a divorce. This is over money that she didn't get. Okay, $100,000 to be exact, after she was already paid 1.9 million. I mean, this is crazy.
He pulled up my record. He looked at me and said, "Wow, what did you say to this judge to get 1 year in jail?"
1 year in jail. 1 year in jail. Can you imagine?
Wait, what? I asked. I'm here for a year? What? Judge Alden had never said anything about this. All she had said was, "Bailiff, remand Mr. Hart to the custody of the sheriff." And that was all she said. She never said anything about 1 year in jail. The officer...
He didn't even realize it. He didn't even know. Can you imagine? Does his daughter, think about this. She's making YouTube videos about him without even having conversations with him about what the truth was, even considering that her mother could have been lying or exaggerating. Is that crazy or what?
From the screen. Well, that's what it says here. You're getting 1 year in jail for contempt of court. It says you owe $148,000 to your ex-wife. How did you get $148,000 behind on your child support? Asked the officer. And I said, well, it's not really support. I paid my ex almost $1.7 million in assets that we had, which was pretty much all our assets, but I still owe her $148,000 to bring the total to $1.8 million in cash up front at the get-go. I also agreed to pay her
This is the price of marriage. This is the price of marriage. And you're sitting... Does anybody in the chat believe that marriage is a good deal for men? Anybody? I'm going to go with no. It's a very bad deal.
$1,000 per month in support. So all in all, I'm $148,000 short in terms of immediate cash due. The officer looks at me. Why the hell did you agree to all that? He said. Who is the judge in this case? Asked the officer. I answered, Judge Leslie Alden. Oh, that explains it, says the cop. Yup, that judge, she really hates men. It really looked like Judge Leslie Alden wanted to send me a message. This was no...
Forget about Judge Leslie, okay? This is a woman, okay? The wife, the ex-wife, that used the government to put the father of her children in jail. To put the father of her children in jail over money. That is absurd.
White-collar work release type program for nonviolent offenders. She put me in the worst hole in Fairfax County, apparently for a year. And it was actually underground. There were no windows. There are about 1,800 inmates in the Fairfax County Jail. Evidently, the reason Judge Leslie Alden sentenced me only to 1 year there is that's the maximum amount of time that you can spend in county jail.
So this judge put him in county jail for the maximum amount of time over this. This proves it all, okay? This proves it all. Government should not be in the marriage. Hands down. Done. Period.
After 3 days in there, I got a visit from the head of the prison, the warden himself. He came all the way down to the deepest, darkest hole in the prison to find out what I had done to end up here. The warden was looking at me through these bars in this small window in the steel door of our cell block. I explained that I had not gotten $148,000 behind on my child support. And then I went through all the basic details of how I paid her close to $1.7 million plus $12,000 a month of support.
$12,000 a month? 12,000! People, this is nuts! $12,000 a month. This is a millionaire. What does this mean for the average person, the average man? How? This is crazy. How your life is over at this point. You realize that, right? Your life is over. Even for him. You work and work and work to start a business, to become a millionaire. I mean, to what? To give it all to your ex-wife because she's having a tantrum? It's nuts.
And all payments were made. But I had fallen $100,000 short on the $1.8 million I had agreed to. Then the judge...
Exactly, Venom, okay? The judge puts him in jail for a year because he couldn't pay. So how is he supposed to pay while he's in jail? Exactly. How are you supposed to pay when you're in jail? And your wife is sending subpoenas, or her lawyers. Okay, and by the way, who's paying for those lawyers of hers? He's paying for that too. Okay? She's sending subpoenas to his clients, and you think that he's going to make more money and be able to pay you more? Where's this money coming from? No logic. Then you have children like this daughter of his looking at this, and what do you think happens? Hello? Okay? Yeah, that's why the divorce rates are what they're at. It's ridiculous. What are we teaching children? Lead by example? This is an example? Do this to your father? This is crazy.
Act on another $48,000 for Betsy's attorney's fees.
Hello? But he's paying her attorney's fees too. When does it end? When does it end? It doesn't.
And for interest. So I just wasn't able to come up with that final $100,000 plus $48,000. Who was the judge, the warden asked. Judge Leslie Alden, I answered. That explains it, said the warden. She's a real man-hater. Looks like you really pissed her off.
A real man-hater. And they all know this, and like nobody does anything about it. The warden is sitting here like, oh, she's a real man-hater. Oh, everybody knows about this judge, but she's still there. She's still there because she's in a position of power. This is how women use power and abuse it. You give women power, certain women, not all, okay? I am not going to say all. You put women in a powerful position, and look what they do. Look what they do. It's ridiculous. No logic.
Paused. He looked at his file of papers on me. Then he said, even though you've been sentenced here, I'm moving you to work release. Trouble is, we don't have any jobs for you that will help you pay off this $148,000 debt. The jobs we have pay $7 an hour.
$7 an hour. Work release. $7 an hour. And he's supposed to pay off $160. I mean, hello, anybody? Okay, Siege D says, my dad had to pay $900 and he was a bartender. This is what I mean. So then you got to get 2-3 jobs just to keep paying and paying. When does it end? When are we? And you wonder why The Crucible has literally an army found. And you wonder why The Handmaid's Tale may be coming. I mean, how do you think they come up with these shows? Because they know women are out of control. That's how. That's how. And then you have tradcons like Trent, all right, and the people on the Daily Wire like Michael Knowles, okay, and Ben Shapiro sitting around acquiescing to these women as if this is not wrong. You know what? It's funny. Until they're in this position. How's that going to work out?
People who are here because they are behind on their child support pay their child support that way. But this is not going to help you get out of your situation. But let me see what I can do about this. I can't have you down here. About a day later, guards are...
Okay, McCool, welcome to the chat. Great comment. McCool says, these tradcons want me to accept someone like Nala Ray, a literal prostitute, a corn star, a millionaire, by the way, from doing corn, all right? Okay, forgive her past, but pay the consequences after the divorce. Of course, because it doesn't even matter that she's a millionaire. You're still going to have to pay, whether you are or not. This is insanity. We're going to marry literal prostitutes so that they can divorce you, okay? And you're going to have to pay for it after you've forgiven them and this and that. This makes absolutely no sense. None.
Arrive, and they take me to the work release facility. But then one day around 5 p.m., I was on my bunk bed reading, and I heard a guard yell, Hart! Benjamin Hart! Benjamin Hart! Is Benjamin Hart in here? Yeah, that's me, I said. Come get your shit and get out of here, the guard said. So I went to the booth where they had my stuff. It was all in a plastic bag. My business suit was wrinkled and a mess, but everything was in there. My wallet, my watch, my phone. I called my girlfriend, Wanda. I told her I was being released and asked her if she could pick me up. I had been there for 8 days and 8 nights, and I got out of my orange
8 days and 8 nights. He said, he's literally in jail. I don't know.
Jumpsuit and back into my wrinkled business suit. And the warden was there to meet me on my way out. He had a bemused look on his face. You'd better write fast and write every day to keep up with your payments, he said. I don't want to see you back here. Thank you, I said. Thank you for getting me out of the hole and up here.
And how's he supposed to do that exactly? How? How are you supposed to do that? Think about it.
I'm not planning on coming back. The problem was, I still had to pay my ex $12,000 per month, plus now $1,000 per month, for a total of $13,000 per month.
$13,000 per month! $13,000 per month. This is... I don't understand this court system. I don't understand this. I don't understand how any man on the planet Earth would ever get involved in a government marriage, okay? Everybody should watch this. Every man should see this. This is the example. CHD says, shout out to our Crucible homies. Yes, absolutely. We love the Crucible here at Culture Club. If you go through my channel, you'll see.
This was no joke, especially since I had no business anymore. All my clients were gone. To stay out of jail, I had to promise to Judge Alden that I would pay it all off in 24 months, or it would be back in the slammer for me.
In 24 months. $13,000 a month. The ex-wife has destroyed his business, put him in jail, and he's got to pay this off in X amount of time. How is this possible? How? A miracle? What, is Santa Claus going to come down? Oh, here, Ben. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yeah, ho, ho, ho. Exactly. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. This is what you get with a ho.
And by the way, when I say I paid Betsy $12,000 per month, that's kind of shorthand. Here's where that number comes from, because Betsy is challenging this number. Well, here's what it was. $4,000 per month for alimony, $4,600 per month for child support until age 22 for each child, $800 per month for the college fund, $1,000 per month for life insurance, $400 per month toward Betsy's health insurance, $1,000 per month for health insurance for the kids, and there were about $1,000 in monthly costs for out-of-pocket medical expenses. So Wanda...
Wow, are you guys getting this? Put that up. Are you understanding the amount of money we are talking about here? This is absolutely outrageous. Outrageous. This woman is challenging the 12 or 13,000 a month because she wants more. It never ends. It's a no-win situation for the husband. You see?
So Wanda and I were able to move out there in April of 2007. We move into the Homestead Inn in Lombard, Illinois, while we look for a place to live in LaGrange near the kids. Betsy is warning me in emails and frantic text messages not to move there. She says I'll regret it if...
Now, I'm just letting you know, in case anybody missed this point, right? He moved to Chicago. He moved to Illinois, all right? Because Betsy, the ex, moved to Illinois with the family. He had to follow them there. He was able to figure that out somehow, all right? Crazy.
If I do. Then one Saturday, I think it was the second Saturday we were there, I swing by the house to pick up the kids. When I arrive, Betsy is standing there. I get out of the car. Betsy walks over to talk to me. She shows
the walrus, exactly 156 grand a year with no clients because she's destroyed his business. What? Insane.
Me her iPod. iPods were a big thing in 2007. She informs me that she's been recording all of our conversations, including when I guess I called her a bunch of names. And we'd been having a lot of nasty conversations. I didn't really know what might be on that iPod. And as she was holding the iPod into my face, I guess to record what was happening, I quickly snatched the iPod out of her hand and headed for the car. Betsy then jumped on my back as I...
So you push and push and push and push and push these men into a corner. You bankrupt them. You destroy the business. You make them move across the... And now you're recording him and doing... And you're... Come on. Come on.
Into the car, and I managed to shake her off.
When Pearl says that the quality of women have just like, I agree. I agree. Because there are a lot of insane women out here because the government says you can be insane. That's how that works. Look at it.
But she dives into the car after me and is sprawled across my lap trying to get the iPod. I toss her out of the car as I'm taking off. And this is important because Maddie believes, and I'll quote Maddie's text message just the other day on this. Maddie says about her video that, quote, "I could have made you look so much worse. I didn't post anything about when you forced mom into the car and drove away with her," end quote. I didn't force Betsy into the car. She jumped on my back to try to get the iPod and followed me into the car. Why would I try to force Betsy in?
This sounds like Jonathan Majors. Okay. This sounds like Jonathan Majors. So within the snap of a finger, a female can destroy a man's life, destroy a man's career, destroy everything he's worked for his entire life. Just like that. She can be attacking him, dragging him, chasing him down the street. But who goes to jail? Who loses all the, avenge all the contracts, all the movie deals? Who? Not her. Not her. And who thinks that's right? Who thinks that is okay?
Into the car. I'm trying to get away from Betsy with the iPod. Meanwhile, Betsy had obtained a protective order and had filed a motion to prevent visitation. Here is Betsy's motion to prevent visitation. It's actually titled Motion to Strike Petitioner's Petition for Visitation and Motion for Sanctions.
So now she's preventing him or trying to prevent him from seeing his own children.
It all cost me another $30,000 or so.
Another $30,000 in lawyers. It's just endless. It's literally endless.
Overcome. Betsy's goal here was for me not to be able to see the kids at all. Ever. And the kids, of course, had no understanding that all this was going on. To them, it looked like I had abandoned them. And to them, it looked like some scuffle had occurred between me and Betsy on the street outside her house. And Betsy, I guess, told them I was trying to drag Betsy into the car. I guess for the purpose of kidnapping her? What's
Siege D, good comment here in the chat, all right? None of this is sustainable. The government is either going to destroy the country's working class men, exactly, okay, to the point of economic collapse or a revolution. Yeah, it's either The Handmaid's Tale, okay, or just to have nothing and be happy. Like, come on, where is the line drawn? Where's the happy medium here? Where do we have like adult conversations and work things out?
What sense does that make? The kids, of course, had little or no clue about all these legal battles going on. How I was both fighting financially and in the courts for more than 2 years to reestablish my right as a dad to have a relationship with my kids. The family law court in Chicago rejected Betsy's motion to prevent visitation. Also threw out her protective order. In December of 2007, Wanda and I moved into a rental property in LaGrange.
Wow. This just goes on and on and on. Literally.
A bit more than a mile down the street. I then saw the kids at least once a week, often more. I saw my son Peter throughout the week. I generally saw the girls once a week. And of course I was available anytime they wanted to hang out. At any rate, as the years passed, I thought all the nastiness had pretty much dissipated. As I said, Betsy got remarried in 2012, married a cancer research doctor who founded and runs a cancer research institute that's affiliated with Northwestern University.
Interesting, right? Very interesting.
They live in a $2.2 million house. She really has nothing to still be angry about. For years now, I thought we had pretty much gotten past all of this nastiness and bad feeling. Yes, 2005 through 2007 was rough, and really through 2008. But all that just seems so long ago to me now. And as I said, just last year, Betsy invited me into her house for a glass of wine while I waited for one of the girls to arrive. Betsy said there's no need for you to sit in the driveway, just come on in. And we had a pleasant conversation. Last year, Betsy and I were in Boulder, Colorado for my youngest daughter Olivia's graduation from the University of Colorado. And
that he paid for, I'm sure.
we had a very good time. hung out with Olivia, joked about this and that, joked about a woman who wanted us to pay $750 each to attend her daughter's graduation party. And I guess Betsy paid the woman $300 for the party. And I'm like, are you kidding?
No comment. No comment.
I paid $0. I just showed up. Who charges people to attend their daughter's graduation party? So Betsy and I were joking about that while sipping wine at this party. But honestly, everything seemed fine between us until Maddie launched her video barrage against me a few weeks ago, which was really just out of the blue, out of nowhere. So I had to answer that. Just this past Christmas, we were all having a great time laughing and joking at dinner. But now...
Looks like a happy family to me. I mean, come on. You're all having dinner. I mean, how bad can he be?
Now the girls apparently have rallied around Maddie. I don't see why anybody needs to take sides. Peter's staying out of it. He says he's not following it, doesn't even really know what's going on. Of course he knows what's going on, but he just wants to stay out of it. So that's basically where things are at the moment. I'm not sure why all this bad feeling is suddenly coming out now. There's really no need for all this negative energy. There never was a need for it. My hope is for everything to go back to the way it was this past Christmas, with everyone happy and getting along. And the way it has been for, well, since 2008 or so.
Guys, did you get all that? Did you get all of that? How can anybody sit here and say that the government does not use marriage as a weapon to control men, and that women do not run to the government to control men? How can anyone say that? Just off of this alone, this is the most absurd story I've ever heard in my life. This is ludicrous. The fact that a woman can, first of all, prevent a man from seeing his own children, that is insane. Unless he's killed somebody or he's abusing somebody, are you abusing the kids? That's a whole different story. We are not talking about that. We are talking about money. This is all about money and ego. Money and ego. We're looking at literal records where this man has paid this woman $1.7 million and change. And she's taking him to court over 100 something. I mean, this is a state of emergency. In my opinion, the government needs to get out of the sacrament of marriage. Okay? Whether you're religious or not, the government should not be in your home. Okay? The government should not be raising your children. The government should not be lording over what you do in your house. We have to do something to change this. And unfortunately, in my opinion, all of these tradcons like Trent, which Pearl destroyed, by the way, I'm going to give her that. She destroyed him, okay? They are doing nothing about it because just like Glenn Lawrence says, they don't want to because it benefits them. It benefits them. They want to sell books. They don't really want anything to change. Okay, they're pandering to women because it makes them money. Okay, the church does the same thing. They pander to women. And why? Because they're failing. Churches are failing. We are literally this close from The Handmaid's Tale. How long do you think it's going to take until men actually stand up and say, you know what? Enough is enough. Because once again, the crucible says it. Laws have to be enforced. And one day, women are going to push men so far that they're going to get up and say, it's enough. It's enough. And what are women going to do exactly? I don't know, call Wonder Woman? Like, seriously? What? We have to get back to the basics here. Okay? Yes, money, whatever, right? Family is important. Respect is important. Dignity is important. If you're going to make a commitment in a marriage, you have to work at it. It's not always either about men just controlling women. It's not about that either. It's a commitment. You have to work together. That's how it works. Especially if you have children. I think it is absolutely disgusting what these kids go through when parents get divorced and they're nasty like this. It is absolutely disgusting. Siege, he talks about it, right? Seriously. Guys, I hope you had fun tonight. Thank you everyone for coming in the chat. We have Steve. The tradcons are grifters. Welcome, Steve. Yes, I agree. They are grifters. But, you know, everybody's a grifter in the space. You know what I'm saying? But tradcons, they're phony. That's what I don't like. They pretend to be something that they're not. Okay? You can't be Michael Knowles talking about what a Christian conservative you are, okay? And then literally make excuses for a actual corn star named Nala Ray. I mean, how did anybody get into this state? That we're literally, the Daily Wire, which is supposed to be literally about Christians, family, marriage, and you're sitting across from a porn star while she's like, you know, doing all this and like, right? And you're like, oh yeah, God, you found God. Oh, it's okay. Let's forgive them. Let's forgive this and forgive that. I mean, how? How is this actually possible? This is ridiculous, people. Absolutely ridiculous. I hope you had fun. Again, thank you so much for everyone in the chat. Drew Booth, thank you for holding the chat down. Siege, thank you for coming to say hello. Ahmed, the Walrus, thank you. Henry, new names here. Thank you so much for everybody in this chat. Steve says, Nala was raised by a pastor. She knows exactly. I said this earlier. What do you mean she found God? She was raised by a pastor. She didn't know God prior? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Glenn, we are going to definitely do a show together about this. Let's definitely set that up. McCool, Fresh and Fit versus Daily Wire. Daily Wire loses. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And to all the veterans, thank you for your service. And to all the people that we've lost who have fought for our freedoms, thank you. Thank you. God bless America. I'm DiBRAVA. Have a great Memorial Day. Let's not forget what it's about. It's about the people that fought for our freedoms. All right? Have a great one, guys. I will see you soon. Take care.